Hi, welcome to the channel. My name is Karsh the Goblin, this is the Goblin Cave, and we are back for another episode of Children of the Marsh, where the children have actually been in the marsh all last week, and they're coming out smelly of lemongrass and with flowers in their hair, and things got a little bit weird last week with the girls and the boys, and go watch last week's episode, it's a bit of a strange one. It's always interesting when you have two cast members that are one section of the party not present, and then the rest of the party just disintegrates around each other because they don't like talking to each other. They're manly men. They don't share their feelings. I'm hearing giggling in the background, so I think I've done well with that one. So we're going to start today with some of our cast members. Hopefully we're going to have the others coming up. I think the plan is for them to come halfway through. We've just did the whole Australian time zone shift, so soon we're going to have another shift, so we're going to have to work on sometimes we may be actually doing shorter episodes later, as in future episodes for a while the time zones are really out of whack, but we'll figure out something along the way. We still want to present the best the best shows we can, and yeah, we're going to have to try to do what we can. So we'll switch across to everybody and go, hi, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Well, hello.
Wow. Actually, enthusiasm. That's awesome.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hello, everyone. How are you today?
Sugar. We need more sugar.
Yeah.
Far more sugar. So this is our... I had it set up, isn't it? This is our 18th episode of the Children of the Marsh. We're getting through it. We're actually leaving this section. We're leaving the danger of Dunwater. Hopefully this episode. Hopefully we don't spend 4 hours in role-playing of one single encounter. I'm looking at you, typo. And we'll continue on. We'll move... Yes, I'm talking about you. We'll move on, we'll continue on, and we'll see what, just see where the adventures takes us. See where the sea takes us, maybe. So, we'll do a little bit of bookwork before we get the introductions, just to get it out of the way. So you can, the sound you're hearing in the background and the audio that we use is from Syrinscape. They're amazing. They are absolutely fantastic for all your online, offline role-playing and board game needs. We're actually using the Ghosts of Saltmarsh sound set because that's the campaign we're using, where we've got access to box text, voice acting, room by room sometimes room by room audio sets. So I can click a button as the players enter one room to add to the atmosphere. It is amazing stuff. They've got Pathfinder, they've got Call of Cthulhu, they've got D&D and other systems, just full campaigns, as well as generic stuff and assets that you can use. So go check them out at syrinscape.com. So we'll do our introductions as well. So Fox.
Oh, we're starting in the middle.
Yeah.
Hi. I'm Fox. I play Ferret, and we totally just destroyed like 12 combats in last session, advanced the campaign by at least 30%, and yeah, that's how we do it. Yep. Oh, and I made a best friend named Edric now.
Edric, would you like to have your retort to that? I think legally you get to reply.
Freaky Sunny D. I play Edric Light. My puppy is very happy right now. Yeah. Ferret. He's a guy, and he did a thing. And Edric acknowledged that. That's about it.
And then destroyed the relationship.
Yeah.
Shortly after.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. Last week was an interesting episode, and
yeah,
I think Ferret proved a lot to Edric. So I don't know. Could get better.
Yeah, as I said, male bonding without the feelings, without the sharing of feelings. It was weird and awkward. In so many levels. Typo.
Hello, everyone. Typo here. I'm playing Explosiolulu, the living embodiment of a pillow. If the pillow was wrapped in fluffy cheer and stuffed with crippling depression.
Yeah, that's about right. Yep. So before we get to the what happened last week, just another bit of time. Another bit of housekeeping is you can help out the channel financially by donating to the channel. Sounds like it's a normal thing. So for every dollar or every 100-bit donation, we give the players a D4, D6, D8, D10 or D12. You need to nominate who the person is as you're doing that, otherwise we'll just roll a random number. Hopefully it doesn't land on the people that are not here. The players can then use that donation for their skill checks, their attack rolls, or their saving throws whenever they need to, and any donation that comes in afterwards adds the value up for every $1 donation, or 100 bits, etc. If the donations get to a D20, sorry, past a D12, I get a D20, I will use it as quickly as possible so I can use it against the players. Also, there's only one live donation happening at all, so if one player has it and you donate to somebody else, then the first player loses it. And so it's kind of a you need to use it or lose it situation. But there's also the investment of waiting for it to get higher, but not too high. So there's pluses and minuses. Yeah, it does help out the channel, helps pay for our bills, helps pay for things like Syrinscape. They're not a sponsor, I just love promoting them because they are so good. And other bits and pieces like the artwork and the overlays and internet, power, wow, things, stuff. Food maybe. That might be useful too at some point. So yeah, all your donations help out, they're amazing. And you can also follow us, which gives you alerts of when we are going to be live. And you can subscribe to the channel, get access to our emotes. And you can also check us out on Discord. And we've got a merch store, we've got all that type of stuff. So if you go to goblincave.tv, you can see us live, like right now. You can go across to that now, and, well, if you're not on YouTube, of course, you can go across to it now, if you're watching us live, and you can watch us live there, and it has all the links to our merch store and everything there, even the artwork that we've got on this channel, and so you can still chat with us, and everything's there for you. So check it out, please. I think that's about everything, and, so next week, as a little announcement, we've kind of been talking about it in the other shows last week. We're going to have a little bit of a different week. We're going to have a Halloween week, not just a day, but a whole week for all the cast members to just shuffle about a bit, have a bit of fun with each other, not in their own insular little groups, and have a little bit of fun in a different game called Call of Cthulhu. We're going to be transposing the characters of each individual game across to the 1920s setting. So, no, we're not going to have goblins in 1920s, but we're going to have the list of personalities, which is almost as scary for the characters in that game. And they might be in with the Children of the Marsh. So you could have a blind Kellic who's trying to sacrifice everybody with the Children of the Marsh here. So it's going to be a bit strange. It's going to be really strange, I think. So we're still working on the rosters. There's going to be a few changes here and there, but generally speaking, we're going to have everybody here, just slightly different arrangement, with a 1920s feel, and definitely horror. Also, we're going to have a cosplay stuff. That's also going to be there. So check that out. Keep up to date with it from our socials, because then you'll know about what's going on. So who wants to do the what happened last week?
I might like to.
You might like to? But you won't even
Yeah,
hear.
might but I saw the episode, and Explosive has words for people.
And that's why you watch our vids. And words for people, yes. So what we do here is we have the cast members in character do the what happened last week, because it's always interesting to see what happened from the players, not from the players, but from the characters' point of view, because it's not always the same from the GM's point of view or the players. So, would you like to take it away?
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, which one of you inelegant bustresses ruined my script? I worked so hard writing you a bardic telling of our adventure, and you savaged it with lies. If I find out which one of you, what, we're live. Hello to all you beautiful common folk. Slightly incredibly furious adventure Explosia Lulu here with our newest tale of swashbuckling and adventure. In our
Not a
latest
pirate.
Huh?
Not a pirate.
You hush up. In our latest episode, our party was sent off by lizard folk to slay the dreaded crocodile Thousand Teeth. We then proceeded to entirely destabilize the entire top half of the swamp ecosystem as we cut a bloody swath through the bog in the name of reviving our dear nature-loving friend. Along our journey, Edric and Ferret bonded over Ferret's willingness to have his face beaten in like a bongo. Hunter managed to convince Ferret into becoming the Swamp Thing for Halloween, and Asteria stripped for her lover. Even I managed to be useful. Wait, excuse me? My character would have never wielded the heirloom sword. I demand a retcon! Get me the editing team right now! I haven't turned it against a foe since I used it on that night on the boat. Have none of you been paying attention to my incredibly detailed arc? I said it was because clearly it would only activate against a truly powerful foe, someone worthy of a magical sword. It has absolutely...
So, hi. Let's try that. Let's try that unmuted. Hi. That was an interesting intro and whatnot. So our broadcasting system just died, and we're going to have that intro all over again because it was quite impressive, and I don't know if Typo can do it with the voice that he does. So would you like to try that passionate intro again?
Okay, one sec.
Yeah.
Explosia, you're angry, you're ready, it's go. Okay, which one of you inelegant buttresses ruined my script? I worked so hard writing you a tale of bardic telling and of our adventures, and you savaged it with lies. If I find out which one of you, we're live. Hello to all you beautiful common folk. Slightly incredibly furious adventure Explosia Lulu here with the latest telling of swashbuckling and adventure.
Nope.
What?
Nope, not a pirate.
Interrupt me again and you will see. Now, in our last episode, the party was sent off by lizard folk to slay the dreaded crocodile Thousand Teeth. We then proceeded to destabilize the entire top half of a swamp ecosystem as we cut a bloody swath through the bog in the name of reviving our fallen nature-loving friend. Along our journey, Edric and Ferret bonded over Ferret's willingness to have his face beaten in like a bongo. Hunter convinced Ferret to become the Swamp Thing for Halloween, and Asteria stripped her clothing for her lover. Even I managed to be useful when Wait, excuse me? My character would have never wielded the heirloom sword. I demand a retcon. Get me the editing team. I haven't turned it against a single foe since the night on the boat. Oh, have none of you been paying attention to my incredibly detailed character arc? I said I wasn't using it because clearly it would only show its true power against a particularly worthy foe. And I will hear nothing about these baseless rumors that I have PTSD after it utterly failed me against the lizard men and nearly got me killed. I was merely playing dead. And certainly not thinking about how my last moments would be as an embarrassing failure and proof that my daddy doesn't love me enough to trust me with the real heirloom. And it's certainly not a perfect sum of my entire life. I'm amazing and everybody loves me. Even if no one respects me. After so many trials, we found our quarry and punched old Thousand Teeth in all of his teeth, and before he got so much as a sneeze in on us. Croc head in tow, we headed back to the lizard folk to spread our tales of glory. But our travels were interrupted by a massive talking tree. What new twist will lie in wait for our heroes? Find out now and join us, dear viewers, as we tailspin uncontrollably into the swampy heart of adventure and intrigue. Also, join me as I hunt down the wretch that butchered my script and shoved my sword where the sun has never shined.
It's okay. You can do. So we're back. We're good, kind of. Typo's losing his voice, and
I want to die.
Yeah. So we'll skip over the intros. I think we're good. I think we've done it enough.
I think the
thank
second time Foley took,
Yes.
and he doesn't have to do it a third time with passionate tears.
No.
I would be reading it monotone.
So yeah, totally professional here. But thank you so much for doing it a second time, Typo. I know
welcome.
that you brought a lot into those. So we left last week, essentially running away from a treant in the swamp. The treant doesn't take chase, and you find yourself essentially arriving at the Lisbon lair, and Victor's with this massive crocodile head dragged along behind you.
I didn't run in wearing the crocodile head.
This is not the Goblins game. You're not named Jabbersnatch. He's the one that puts the horse's head. I was actually surprised he didn't put the Barker's head on his head. But no, wrong game. Watch the Goblin show as well. It's funny. It's chaos. Less feels though. More chaos. More explosions.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, you return back to the Lizardfolk lair with the giant 1,000-teeth crocodile head. You can restore your hit points because you actually didn't take any hit points damage, I believe, for the combats, and you restored it back in between the combats, and you ran away from the treant. That was just a setup because we had 2 missing members, and it was funny. Well, I thought it was. How are you going to do the talking to the Queen? Who's going to take the lead here? Because this is going to be the next scene. In the
Yeah.
in the audience chamber.
Yep.
So this isn't the you've seen them in the where they'll doing the workout and they'll do the practice yard essentially, and she was overlooking everyone. This is the actual the royal throne room for the queen.
So I'm dragging this giant alligator head, right? I want to like, yeah, kind of. I want to, as we enter the throne room, like kind of from behind me, sling it to where it starts sliding across the floor going forward in front of us as a show of just like, we're badass.
Okay, so I'll do a description of the throne room because I don't think we've actually been there. I'll just load it up. So the throne room itself is quite a substantial room, much larger than all the other rooms you've seen. Again, it is lined with guards, those of the lesser variety, and of course those of the more elite. There are several priests. You've now kind of determined and noted who are the priests, who are not the priests. There are several priests close to the queen, her advisors, some you have met, some you haven't met. It's a very impressive room with like a big vaulted ceiling. There's tapestries along the walls of victorious lizardmen, and there's a lot of opulence. There's 3 sets of stone pillars that flank each side. There's a lot of gemstones inflicted in, like, pretty much pressed into the walls. It's a very opulent room. Are you sure you want to try to do that?
I mean, we're essentially showing her the head, in a way.
Good. If that's what your
Sure.
character would do.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is somewhat undercut by the wave of pink that follows it, cleaning up the blood.
And
It's like
more,
like you're
it's like badass moment, and then
more
I
mud
feel like
than
this is
blood.
the progression you've been making with Edric, and you're just like,
like you see even explosives like pinching her like bro, like
But if you think about it, the thing's giant. We gotta drag it anyways. So, you know, may as well make a show of it. Be like, here you go.
as not Edric, I understand.
But as Edric, oh my god. So, would you like a slider on the overlay of like the relationship between you two?
Yeah.
I may be able to set
gosh.
something up along that line.
Well, yeah, because especially since I'm
That'd be
right
pretty
above him, you can just have that slider right between us.
just like
So, another thing you may note, all the way down the bottom, we've got lizard folk influence below the chat. It's kind of a thing where the players don't know how much they need to get. It's a bit lower than it was last week because I didn't actually reduce from the potential TPK 1v1 fight.
wait, I thought we mitigated that.
Oh no! There was always going to be a reaction. There was always going to be a reaction from that, but so it's a little bit lower. But again, you've done other things, like you've come back with the giant head, which you just thrown across the throat. Well, you tried to throw across the throne room. Can I get a strength just in case to see if you are
Oh,
successful?
yeah. Gosh.
It's big and it's heavy.
Yes.
It had to be a
And it's got 1,000 teeth.
Yeah. So you actually do throw this across, and the mud behind it as it slides is then like turned into this pink mist to clean up the mess. A lot of the lesser lizardman guard are very much on edge, and they're very and they're almost as if, is this an attack? What's going on? the scale shields, what you believe to be their sergeants, are less. They're less on edge, but they're still. You can see that there's like they're annoyed that you take such liberties in this room itself. The priests as well. You can obviously they don't take it well. They certainly don't take that well. Almost as a threat that we can do this to Thousand Teeth. Like we're going to do this to you type of threat.
No, from me, it was more of like we are showing our strength here.
Mm-hmm.
You asked us to go take care of this. We took care of it. And here's his head for proof.
Yeah. The Queen, though, is unreadable. And her advisors seem to be unreadable. They seem to be the level-headed ones in the room, which is probably the best.
Yeah. Explosia does a curtsy and like slightly bows her head. Apologies. I will like slowly turns towards him. Punish him appropriately afterwards.
We brought them the head. That's what they wanted.
If looks could murder. Explosia, like briefly, the briefest of looks gives it to you. And then back to all smiles. Cheerful.
If looks could murder, you'd be on a killing rampage right now. Yes.
Ferret leans over to Explosia and goes, will you just tell her that we've done the deal and let's get on with this and let's kill this, kill the Sahagins and let's, move on.
Oh, but of course. And Explosia will give another flourish, and as requested, and she will state the lizard men's name that like provided the information about this and the request.
Mm-hmm.
We have removed Thousand Teeth from the pathway that we were told that you needed to take, so that you won't have any more casualties.
Oh, and also, will you tell her, have her men be careful of that pathway? It's very poisonous.
Explosia gets the feeling that they know.
Well, it's up to you if you want to pass on that information.
Well, I think this is a good time for a performance check, as Explosia gives a brief recanting of the tale.
Mm-hmm.
Would that be fair?
Oh,
You can go that direction, yes.
Okay. Okay, 12.
Yep.
It's okay.
Hey, it's not a 1. It's okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, like I don't know what you're groaning about. I have a high modifier. It makes things okay.
But you
Just
asked to roll
great.
you weren't asked by the GM to roll.
Hmm?
You asked to roll yourself. You didn't get asked to roll.
Oh, that's
So
fair.
you
Yeah.
volunteered to possibly fail.
Wait, what? Yeah.
I wasn't
like if I
asking-
rolled low, yeah.
Yes. I wasn't asking for a performance. You volunteered that. So you recount the tale of all the things along the way, back and forth, or just the Thousand Teeth, or...
Mostly just a brief summary of like the events there and the battle with Thousand Teeth.
Okay.
It's more of a here's information. Just like we managed to do well.
Yeah.
It wasn't just Thousand Teeth we had to overcome. We had to overcome a couple challenges.
Yes. So the Queen stands after your account and says, and what about the diplomatic incident?
Hmm?
The diplomatic
incident.
Yes. The murder.
Of the Coalanth.
Yes. The Coalanth diplomat.
Explosia will,
In our lair.
with all due respect, Your Majesty, he did agree to a duel to the death.
Yes, but that's probably not what's going to be told to his families and his clan.
Hmm. Explosive. Thanks for a moment. Let's see. Anyone else, feel free to jump in if you want.
Anyone?
I think you're the only one that can speak their language.
Actually, I think it's
The queen
Asteria
speaks common.
can speak the language, but the Queen does speak common. This is in common.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well, no, you go, Explosive.
Okay.
It was per your direction, right?
Well, I must admit, I am very disappointed in their reaction, but the agreement was an agreement and they did disobey it. And they did break the terms of their pact.
But even still, it is still going to be a murder, or a death, which I'm going to have to answer for. And a death inside our lair when they had immunity, they had safety here as a diplomat.
Explosia's eyes almost seem to flash for a moment, and she begins recounting a quick law of like,
Technically speaking, diplomats do not have immunity if they wager their life in a duel.
Yes, but that is not what's going to be said to their clan. Their clan is going to be told that we attacked them or somebody attacked them. We are going to take the brunt of this. Because we had them here, we asked them to be here. And then now they've lost one of their family members. I'm assuming a prestigious family member because he was a diplomat. He spoke for them.
What if we
Didn't they suggest the duel?
no, we suggested a duel.
Mhm.
They just wanted to eat us,
But wasn't
right?
that because they challenged our strength?
No, they wanted to eat us.
Oh yeah, that's
So
so it was out of self-defense.
Who's the
So-
self-defense?
So I just go, they said the only way they would agree to help in this fight would be if they ate us.
They were not going to help. They're going to probably side with the Shahorgan. They don't want to help us.
Well, then why
They see
invite
us
them
as
here?
lesser because they are a strong race. They are an aggressive. They are fierce warriors. They are
Right,
matched
but if-
almost for the Sahorgan. And if we attacked
But if-
by the land, they attacked by the sea, we had a chance.
But if you knew they weren't going to help, why not invite someone else like the Sea Elves?
The Sea Elves, but they hate them. They hate that race, and there's been a long-running feud.
Right. But if you know that they are not going to help us and they're going to probably side with the Sahagins, it was a lost cause either way.
We didn't know that they were going to side with the Sahorgan, and
But that's what you just
they are
told me is
stronger
that
than the Sea Elves. They are more aggressive. They are more fearsome than the Sea Elves.
Explosive's nodding along with this woman.
The Sea Elves are... They're not a fully peaceful race, but they are more enlightened, they say.
Yeah,
At least they
looks
try
like
to
that.
call themselves that.
I'm just saying.
Do you have any quarrel with the Sea Elves?
No, we have no quarrel with the Sea Elves.
Good. We may be able to get them on our side.
You have someone that can... You know a Sea Elf?
Yeah.
Yes, we do, in fact.
And
And
they
we
may be
even
able to
have
be
a
convinced.
bargaining.
It is possible they were sitting at the council with our council, so
We also
So-
have a few bargaining chips.
The humans are aligned with the Sea Elves. And if
To a certain extent. If we had recruited the Covalent, we would have told. Explosia waves away her thought, or like that she's already forming. If we had successfully recruited the Covalent, we would have told the Sea Elves to stand by and not help out with the fight, for obvious reasons.
But if you're allied with the Sea Elves, then and you're wishing to help, you could have said this earlier. It would have changed our thought process. Would have given you certainly something to bargain with. A stronger presence in this situation, and we do need to be able to fight our common enemy, both underwater and on land.
My apologies, dear Queen. I was not fully aware of the situation when we were first detained here.
You were not detained.
It took a while before we could fully understand the gravity of this and what your goals were. After all, from what we understood at first, we merely knew that you had come to this land at once more, and we were curious to see why.
This is our land. This was once our old lair, but we were kicked out of our fortress, and we lost many.
Now, as we were told when we came here, we needed to make relationships with the delegations that you chose. Now, there was nothing in that clearly stating that if there was another option, let us know. We were just told to, get the other delegations on our side. There didn't seem like there was another option out there.
There's always other options when it comes to diplomacy. Unfortunately, we ran out of options with the Covalent.
I didn't think you had many options with the Covalent, but,
Explosia's
Though they
eyes.
are strong.
She looks intently at the Queen for a moment. She looks a little different than usual. There's a difference to her stance about when she was last here and where she is now. She's standing taller. She's looking straighter at the woman, and there is a certain degree. While Explosia is still being very like, yes, Your Majesty, sort of thing, there is definitely a feeling that Explosia is not talking from she's not talking from a position of weakness anymore. Explosia is trying. There's a certain degree of Explosia is talking to this woman, not quite as an equal, but as some degree of a peer. And Explosia nods.
Yes, unfortunately, it does seem that you are limited in options at the moment.
Yes, we are.
Without the Covalent, the odds of you, well.
Explosia looks left and right to the lizard men nearby, and bites her tongue, deciding not to embarrass the Queen in front of her court.
Well, it would. I imagine an alliance with. I imagine an alliance with the human nations would be, with the human nation would be significantly beneficial. We could potentially bring both the Sea Elves to the table, as well as bring some of our own forces.
It sounds like That sounds like it's the same conclusion that I'm also coming to. As
Yes.
It's less of the fact that we are in a bad situation. I think we all are in a bad situation. The Sahorgan do not just attack boats; they will attack land. They will wipe out entire sea village or coastal villages. So I think we all need to help each other.
Well, the situation is similar, but not quite identical, I must admit. Much like the Covalent, we are not actually in the same degree of danger as the lizard folk and merfolk are.
I believe that you will be. We are trying to regain our former home and remove the threat to the land. The Sahorgan will also remove your home if they win. Well, when they want.
Explosia scratches the back of her neck and like,
Oh, I understand that completely. If you are unable to successfully drive off the Sahorgan, then Saltmarsh, the odds of it surviving are not ideal. However,
Explosia looks at the woman and simply says,
I am a noble from the capital. If I were to die in Saltmarsh, well, if I were to die with Saltmarsh being wiped off the face of the map, well, to put it simply, the kingdom would not stand for it. The local navy would eventually get involved, and if the local navy couldn't get involved, then the entire force of the kingdom of Creoland would get involved and absolutely crush the Sahagin threat.
And
But
you would still be
it
dead.
would be at a significant loss of our village, which would be very, very unfortunate for us.
And you would be dead, and many others would be. We're trying to stop that from happening. We took a loss to our community, and we are just a fraction of what we once were. The Sahorgan grow stronger every day. They breed, and they breed, and they kill.
I understand that completely. I merely meant to explain that my citizens are not merely the village of Saltmarsh, and therefore my
Explosia like fishes for the word.
The scope of what I need to consider is slightly different in this regard.
Explosia's basically is making something clear. To put it bluntly, humanity, the stakes for us are not the same as the lizard folk, and Explosives realize this now. When we first came here, the lizard folk had us at sword point, and it was essentially do what I say or we're gonna die, and we were very acquiescent. But now the queen has made a mistake. She's allowed us to find information that she isn't in a position of power. She's desperate. She needs humanity's help. Explosives doesn't want to say that out loud directly because that's extremely impolite, and that's the whole point of diplomacy and persuasion, that sort of stuff. But the truth is, humanity will survive if this fails. If it fails, you lose a city, and Explosia's responsibility, though, is to her entire country, and eventually King of Creoland will just smash the Sahagin threat. It'll be annoying, but ultimately, it's not a matter of absolute annihilation or survival like it is for the lizard folk.
Explosia is so young.
Mission, that's extremely important.
Explosia is so young, underestimating the threat to the whole kingdom.
Yeah, I mean,
they are water-based creatures.
But
yeah, it would be extremely annoying because
they're water-based creatures that can be on land.
Yeah,
but how long can they be on land before they need to be in water?
To wipe out a settlement.
An entire, maybe salt marsh,
coastals,
but not an entire country or an entire race of humans.
Yeah, that's the point.
They're not going to destroy.
It would be it'd be very beneficial for the kingdom of Creoland, because they would lose several settlements along the sea if this got out of control before they could put it down. But it's kind of like when there's an overraiding band of orcs or something that's gone crazy, you might lose a number of towns and villages, but ultimately the threat will be stopped.
But Saltmarsh is also the food belt for like the kingdom as well. That's the only reason why the navy's here, is because, well, they're sick of fighting wars, and they've overstretched, and it's like, well, this is our food belt, which is we don't have any control over. We don't actually have a navy there. We don't have any forces there. So that's also kind of why they've moved their forces in this area, because the salt marsh and the surrounds, the fishing industry is far more than it should be.
Yeah. But Karsh, she doesn't need to know that part.
No.
All she needs to know is that her people are standing at death's edge, and it's a matter of complete annihilation or survival. And the humanity is only facing extremely annoying threat and massive financial losses. Now, Explosia knows there can be a domino effect with that too. Weaken a kingdom and other countries get hungry.
They can just move again.
Yeah.
Like this is a land-based that can breathe underwater. They can hold their breath underwater, so they can move further inland.
Yeah. So
they can also move.
So it's supposed to just basically trying to make sure that like she understands.
Yeah.
Is trying to communicate with indirectly that this is a bigger threat for them than it is for us, because in diplomacy, that is a major point of leverage. We have the higher ground here, even though Explosia is being acquiescent and to the queen.
And her reply is that it's in less words than the fact that our options are that we can just ignore the threat and just move and go further inland and just abandon our homeland, and we will find another place to settle. We are not ocean based. We do not live in the water, and we can just keep on moving. But this is our home, and they've moved into our old home. We are trying to stop this threat so it doesn't affect others, which is why we're calling for this alliance. Because if we don't stop this threat, who knows how far this threat is going to be. So we are trying to make a stand here. And she looks at some of her advisors, and not all of us feel the same way. Several of us want to just walk away. But this is our homeland. This is what we're fighting for. I would hope that the people of this area would also want to fight for this land and for this ocean.
Oh, absolutely. We have every intention of doing so.
So that's her reply of, look, I know we're screwed, but we could also just move. And then the threat just moves to you guys.
Yeah. Explosia looks between the people and looks around between them. When she says move, like, we can just leave, what's the reaction from her people?
Like she's saying in flowery language, and she's saying it in common. So the soldiers, the sergeants, they are very much against the idea of leaving. Like you can see that. I'm not even like asking for insight checks. You can see the reactions there. The priests, though, seem to be the ones in favor of leaving.
I'm actually surprised by that. I thought it'd just be the advisors.
No, it's the priests that seem to be the ones in favor of leaving. It's the advisors that are ones that seem to be the ones in favor of making the alliance. And you can read in their faces as she switches between we were going to stay and help fight and make this a group thing, that you can see those that are in favor of that, they're reacting positively to that. So you can kind of see in just that of who's where and what.
Explosia looks between them, and then like she's looking between the soldiers that understand and realizes like how much they're against it, and there's a little bit of like, okay, yeah. Explosia understands you could leave, but she has a good wager that it would not be so easy for the queen to just up and decide, guys, we're going. Nope, abandon it. Fuck our honor. Fuck our home. Let's go. Yep. But she's not going to say anything. But she's mentally calling that blow.
Yeah. So Are you offering a diplomatic solution, and how much in favor of one side are you offering?
Explosia will explain all the things that we've offered so far to each of the other races.
You
And
get the idea.
she will.
knows.
Okay. She will also explain to them that she would like to open up a trade deal with the Lizardmen for a discount on the goods that Salt Marsh can create, and will also supply a modest gift, essentially, of a couple weapons too, for her more closer guard, so that she, at the very least, is not going into this unarmed or anything like that, like with minimal armaments. But Explosia is still here for the village, and she is deciding, you know what, they definitely need our help, and she can somewhat rake them over the coals for, like, I'm sorry, we're still going to have to ask you to pay for it. We'll give you a discount though. Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, but that's how business be.
So diplomatic, but you're doing this to also a little bit of profit in there. Just some, yeah.
That's good diplomacy.
She,
It's a moment of growing for Explosia. And Explosia will, during this, will actually turn to Edric a little bit, like, from time to time, like, and Asteria, like, okay, is this a good, what, like, working out, like, a price, essentially, like, yeah, what'd be a good deal? Because Explosia doesn't fucking know.
doesn't know the prices of things from normal peasants.
Yeah. She knows how many, like, swords would be a decent, like, a reasonable, like, here you go, here's a token of our like, yeah.
Okay.
But
She accepts the like, without an actual doing a negotiation role, because everything you've said, you've kind of worked out what's going on and you're kind of playing to that. And you've even though the lizard folk influence did go down, you do get some points back for killing Thousand Tooth. So that's updating now, and you also get some points for influencing her, and she agrees.
Okay.
To a situation, and she agrees to dispatch two of her officers, Gorat and Vinth, to Salt Marsh to accompany you and to act as ambassadors on her behalf.
Oh, Vinth, thank you for the tip, by the way, with Thousand Tooth. I really appreciate it.
I think we can end the scene.
Okay.
Without having to go into details of we're going to get this, we're going to get that, and because the offer's there, but the details are worked out by the actual ambassadors and the council, etc. Like the fine detail. But it's very different D&D. I like this scenario. It's so different. It could have gone so much worse too. Very, very worse.
Yeah.
And Fox and Sunny, you're just like, yep, no, Explosive does all the talking.
Well, I threw in a few tidbits, but it was more just like she had stated to me that the Coalinth weren't going to fight with us anyways. So, like, my point of being like, why bring them if they're not going to help? Yeah. Why bring them?
Which then actually you finally found out what the issue was, and why not the sea elves.
It's also something interesting because So the reason Explosive was so confident that they needed our help, if you look at the races that they have a lot allied to them, they have two sea dwelling races, but the enemy that they're fighting is amphibious, meaning that if they beat them in the sea, even if they did that, the Sahagin are just going to retreat onto land, and the lizard folk are going to be on their own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
yeah, they
Well-
needed land dwellers to assist them.
Well,
Exposed
and then
understands enough of tactics to know that it was they were doomed if they couldn't get help.
well, and they had at least one passive race with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I just as like a debrief. This is just a debrief for that whole scenario. So this was actually made back in first edition D&D, when everything was just dungeons. So having this as a part of the U series as almost purely diplomatic, I mean, which is how you ended up playing. You played it pretty much purely diplomatic. I really, really think this was way before its time, because first edition was very much a pure hack and slash.
Yeah. Oh man.
And it
It must have been very frustrating, honestly.
yeah, and yeah.
Because when,
So
it's like going into a game that's a meat grinder, not being told it's a meat grinder.
but you also
And
this time you're
it'd be
going into a
just the
game which is
equivalent.
used to a meat grinder, and it's like, no, you actually need to go negotiate this one.
Exactly, it's the exact opposite.
And you didn't. You actually did the negotiation. You didn't attack. Yeah, it was real, like, very different. So we moved back to Saltmarsh, and things settle down, and you have about a week's
Quick
downtime. Yep.
Oh, never mind. If we have weeks of downtime, never mind.
Yeah, it'll be a couple of weeks downtime, where you can just do what you need to do. What do people want to do quickly? I don't want to spend 2 hours on that.
I wanna work on the docks again to again drop money for my family.
Okay, no problem.
Done.
That's an easy thing to do. I will note that the as a GM, as the system for that magical item stuff, that refreshes every week, and you need to have one person at least set aside of that's what I'm doing for a week.
Okay.
And it'll, like, the list of stuff refreshes every week. If you don't purchase something for 1 week, it disappears, and they get a new stock in. So if anyone wants to do that, the cost of that is 50 gold for essentially for the contracting of being able to do that, and then I do all the rolls for you. But you're not earning money at that time. You can't do other work. So if you're working at the docks, you're earning enough money to get by, and you can, and that's a no issue.
Yep. Be right back. I gotta turn this fan off. I'm cold.
You're cold, God, we're getting heat. Absolute heat
right.
waves.
So speaking of gold, Explosia is going to go back to the council, and she's going to explain that she has connections with the lizard folk. And hey, merchants guild over there, looking at you. Would you like to arrange a deal?
I don't think there's a merchant's guild. There is a carpenter's guild.
Okay.
Well,
Well, whatever, whoever's
yeah.
in charge of that sort of stuff, like, Explosive would like to essentially be the broker between the two.
Did we get paid for going and doing all the diplomacy and all that?
Yes, I think it was about 500 gold. Hopefully people were writing things like that down in the treasure sheet, because I can't remember them. I believe it was... Otherwise I have to find this side of the adventure again.
It
think
was
I wrote it
1,000
down.
gold or something like that.
Damn.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but let me just...
Yeah.
Damn.
I know, because I looked at my thing that said, you get 150 gold. And I was like, that's pittance.
Yeah.
So 1,000 gold split 5 ways, 200 to each person.
Yeah.
And I would like to try to serve as a sort of broker between the lizard folk and the blacksmiths, essentially, to effectively gotten like the whole, when you get rights to negotiate for, like, hey, you have to buy through me, essentially. If you want to sell, you have to sell through me, kind of thing.
So what was that?
Do you know when? So there's a thing where like you can get it so that in agreement that you have to purchase goods through a certain person.
You're trying to get exclusive licenses
Exactly.
for who?
For the lizard folk, essentially, like saying, just as part of our agreement, I will help out with be the go-between for this. On the exchange, essentially, as I'll be the exclusive person for this for now.
Well, I think the council has a big say in that, and the two diplomats go to the council and meet with them. I don't think the council are going to be the ones to... And the council's made up of several of the merchants and the older community, like the older people in the town, like the established families in the town.
I suppose I would have tried to talk to the queen about that, like to negotiate that into the deal with them, so that because that was like our goal in the thing of like, oh yeah, so we can't kill these people and get that money, but we might have an extra option here to make some money. Would it be possible to try to like convince the queen, like, okay, fine, you know what, you convinced me, I'll have you serve as a sort of one of the go-betweens they have to buy through you?
I don't think she's going to be... Well, I don't think her advisor will allow that, because he's read how your family does business, and that's how he studied diplomacy of that type of thing.
I suppose he would understand. How about Asteria? Asteria is very trusting, and she is a scholar like yourself.
So what, do you want Asteria to get money for like buying in a library?
No, Asteria would be the go-between, essentially. And like I suppose he's not asking for a whole lot, like 100 or 150 gold, something small. Essentially, she would ask the traders of Saltmarsh for that money.
You take a percentage cut.
Exactly.
Instead of a flat fee.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking that if you do, your reputation about the council is going to drop, because they will find out, because the diplomats are going to be speaking directly to them, and the diplomats will mention that we've got this as well. Like, it will come out quickly as soon as things start moving. Goods and services.
Now,
rise.
the way you should hold on. The way you should go about it is you should convince the lizard folk that that's the best option for them, so that they know that they are getting the best option, because they know you and they don't know them.
Yeah, that's the angle.
That's how you need to go about it.
Okay.
That way, when the lizard folk go to the council, they say, "But we want to buy through such and such person, who will receive such and such a fee."
Yeah. I'm kind of willing to do. I'm kind of willing to sacrifice a little bit of like amongst the council, because that also does get what Explosia has been lacking: respect.
Okay.
Not to mention, coming from the noble family that she does, I'm sure there's been some kind of negotiation where she would have learned some of that from someone in her family who has tried to do something similar.
Yeah, her sister.
I think, can I get a persuasion check?
Okay.
Like, this isn't to do the convincing, this is to do a percentage.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the higher you roll, the more the percentage is going to be.
17.
Okay. Essentially is 7%.
Okay.
On all transactions. Or not on all transactions, but a 7% cut in there. So you have a small income coming through for anything that's being sold and transferred back and forth.
Hey, GM. When the merchants have inevitably start complaining about the 7% cut that she also gets, Explosia will go, you know what? You're right. Tell you what. For you, I'm going to cut it. Tell you what, you're right. I'll cut it down to 5%, okay? She'll put up a little bit of fight about it, but she'll cut it down for them.
Because it sounds like you're being nice, even though you're still taking 5%.
Exactly.
Yeah. Write it down somewhere that
Oh.
you're going to probably end up having 5%. And
Okay.
we'll end up having like this small little tithe coming through. Yeah. Damn, nobles. And this is how nobles got
Explosia is slowly learning.
Explosive's growing up. Oh.
Yeah.
Wow, bad. So, what are people doing over, say, about 2 weeks of downtime? Working at the docks, anything else?
Nope,
Nope.
just both weeks.
Okay. You can cover your income. That should be easy. Like, your income will cover your expenses.
Mhm.
What's Edric up to?
Very good question.
Okay. What's explosion? No? We got an answer?
Actually, I do have one question. While working at the docks, do I hear of any other going-ons about town, or because we took down the smugglers, but now it's, have I heard anything else come out of that, or they took down the smugglers? I was
They
not a
did.
part of it.
Yes.
Yes.
So, as in, can I
As
get
in,
a,
like, is the smuggling ring coming back, or like, is there someone new stepping into that spot, or like, am I just hearing any chatter from the people that I'm working around?
there is a system there, and you're in the exact spot to ask about that system, because that's the thing, how this works. Your downtime activities does affect, you can do things like this. And I just have that on the GM's version, not your version. So employment, unloading and loading ships. So each week of employment, you can get the coin to sustain a modest lifestyle, but you also get to do a charisma check to find out what's going on.
Right. Oh, no.
Per each week.
No.
It didn't
All
roll
right.
for me, so what was it?
It was a 5 on the first week.
Okay, you don't get thrown in the water.
I'm
'Cause that's been
still
done before.
exhausted.
That's
Still
right, you are
exhausted,
gonna be
not
exhausted.
really caring.
Yep.
Shouldn't be exhausted if it's been more than 3 days.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh.
sure we would have rested a day
Yeah.
before we traveled back to Salt Marsh, which would have put you at a 2.
Yep.
And it would have
That's
taken
fair.
you a day or 2 to get back into working at the
Mhm.
dock. So
All right,
Sure.
and then the second one, whoops,
We got
it
dice
should be
rolls.
at normal. Should be at normal.
13.
So 13.
You hear some grumblings. And you get the feeling, although you can't tie it down, you don't, like, you hear things in passing, but like it's only little bits, and you don't always hear it from the same person, or you don't really know where it's coming from, because it's like a group of people as they're walking past, loading, talking about things. That there's more than one smuggling operation going on in town. They just entered the business, or one person's business, but they don't know whose it was.
Okay. Now, from what I'm hearing, does it sound like if there's more than one smuggling ring, is it all under one kingpin, or am I hearing like 2 different people were leading smuggling rings?
The impression you get with a 13 is that there may be more than one, like other
Okay.
individuals. But they
Fair
don't know.
enough.
They don't know. But you also don't know whose it was. You don't hear that they talk about who it was. There was the kingpin or the organizer or the beneficiary of it.
Okay.
But there's certainly other things going on.
All right then.
And shall we go back to Edric?
So he spends a lot of time at the library with Asteria,
Mm-hmm.
learning more and doing more research into um, kind of different gods and um, why certain temples, worship the way they do. He tries to read about different magic and things like that. I think he's just seeking more knowledge. Um, and he also wanted to do the magic market.
Okay. Um,
So one of the weeks will be that.
can I get a persuasion check to try to convince Eleander that it's a beneficial thing for the town that your research is, and therefore he'll pay you. Otherwise, you're doing that first one and losing money totally.
Yeah.
That's not the 7's not going to be enough to
That's
convince.
right. I mean, he was doing it mostly for himself anyway.
Yeah. I know you're doing it mostly for yourself. I'm just thinking if you convince Eleander that like it's to do with maybe the attack of the Sahorgan or this or that it's beneficial for the town.
Maybe I can just organize the books and put them away.
That's Asteria's that's her stick. That's what she keeps on telling
but she
people.
reads them all before she puts them away.
Yes, and she takes them home when she's not supposed to. And yes, that's her stick. That's her argument always. So the first week you have to spend money for your income, like for your lifestyle, and the second.
So he's still working at the temple. So he's just trying to do some of this other stuff in his own time. And I wouldn't say he's working at the temple every day.
Yeah. Well, working at the temple, you're not really earning income, but you're not spending income. You're able to sustain blank. So you can start, you can find bits and pieces. It's like
I'm pretty sure he also has I don't remember. Never mind. I forget what I was gonna. I'm looking it up.
So you can find books about religion and about the realms and churches, and there's enough information there that you can find whatever you need. It is a substantial library.
Yeah.
And you can move into whichever direction you are going to, which is still a mystery. Because a mystery is always more fun. And the second week costs you 50 gold for the donation of bits.
I'll take that off.
For the commission, which means I got to do a heckload of rolls.
I've been saving, so I still have a little bit.
At least on the upside, there's now a D100 on the on the quick time rolls. Before it wasn't there. Okay. So we'll take this off. We'll do service engaged. We need to do roll twice on the magic table for F, one for each of everything else. So we'll do F first. And we'll do twice. God, it's a huge list. Okay, D100, D100.
Nice.
85. The high and lower doesn't really matter. These are weird. Okay, that's weird. You'll get a lot of, okay, that's weird, coming from these. And then we do ones for each one.
I would also inform my friends of things that I find in case they're interested.
That might be important.
What's that table for?
These are for the other tables. There's lots of them.
Ooh.
I'll have to work out that one.
Yeah.
50.
Potion of water breathing.
Yep. Oh, that's right. You've got access to this, haven't you? I'm like, that's fine. I opened that up so you have a idea. Well, that's. Oh boy, that's gonna be expensive.
I'm sure it will.
Back to D.
Oh, that's
60.
gonna show up.
But even when I said, oh yeah, that's going to be expensive for the Parrot of Health, it's done by rarity, which is a bit weird. Like the costs and everything is done by rarity.
Yeah. Parapet of Health only prevents disease.
Is it?
Yeah, you're thinking of the Amulet of Health, I think.
Could be. So that's what's there for this week. So again, not really great. I don't know what the bag of tricks is.
Back of trick is
I mean,
fine.
potion of water breathing.
Oh. No, you don't want that.
Kind of weird that we're trying to get underwater here.
No, you don't want that. Giant
Would
weasel.
that just be a single one too?
Yes, you can throw giant weasels with it.
Yes. A grey bag
Clearly.
of tricks. This ordinary bag is made of grey, rust, or tan. Reach inside the bag. However, it reveals the presence of as a fuzzy object. The bag weighs pretty much nothing. You can, as an action, you can pull a fuzzy object from the bag and throw it 20 feet. And the fuzzy object can be a weasel, a giant rat, a badger, boar, panther, giant badger, direwolf, or an elk.
Yep. It's a fun one.
Interesting.
Yep. Okay. What's its rarity? It's wondrous item. Uncommon. So it's actually not that super expensive either. So uncommon's 300 gold.
That's a lot.
That's what it is.
Yep.
I'll say, depending on what the spell scroll is, I'm sure Asteria would be pretty interested.
I'll do the roll for that now. Spells per level. But that's all spells per level.
And maybe we can leave it to where she can decide at the start of next week or something.
Yeah. So I just got to go through all of the bits and pieces. While I'm doing this, what is this? What is Explosia Lulu doing, apart from ruining her good reputation with the local noble folk?
I'm getting back my good reputation with the local noble folk.
Why did I expect that? Mm-hmm.
1, she feels guilty. 2, she's just that person. 3, it's a smart thing to do. Yeah, Explosive is going to be carousing.
So I'm just counting. In which tavern?
The high-end one. And a lot of it will actually be Explosia is interested in learning how to be... She's showing interest in actually trying to be a better noble, I guess. So she's talking to some of like the, local rulers and whatnot. Also to Anders.
Wait, to who?
Anders.
Ander?
The 19-year-old.
Yeah,
Scudo
I
Lord?
know. I just was hoping you were going to be talking to your dead friend.
No,
No, she doesn't have Speak with Dead.
he's dead to her now.
No, she took a finger.
Yep.
She's very clingy.
She also took your she also took your necklace. She's the one who has that.
Yep.
Anybody who looks at her, by the way, you would actually find that wrapped around her left hand.
Okay. Heat metal is the scroll.
Please don't cast heat metal on it. I like my hand.
Heat metal is the scroll.
I have to let Asteria know.
There's like 70-second level spells. Sorry about that delay. Like, well, I didn't expect that much. So you spend carousing. That would be at the upper class bar, which is the.
I believe that's 2d10 gold.
Yes.
Let's roll. Are they big eaters?
It's mostly this is the
Yes.
the loyalists. These are like the town guard and that side of things. At that tavern.
14.
14. Is that how much you spent? Or is that how much?
Yes.
Okay. So the wicked goat. That's right. Where Hunter sometimes is working, sometimes he's not.
Okay. That's the highest classed one?
They're not really class. It's more like it's less class. There's like there's the soldiers one, which is the wicked goat. There is the empty net, which is the ruffians more than anything.
Yeah.
Like dark and seedy.
One I'm not allowed in.
One you're thrown out the door and into the water.
Yeah.
And then there's the snapping line, which is the sailors and the fishermen and things like that. So it's less a class;
Okay.
it's more of a like
That's absolutely a
Orientation.
class.
well. but this isn't upper class. It's just a normal bar.
Yeah. But
it's just
if like an upper
populated
class
with-
person had to go to one of the bars, it'd probably go here, right?
that's what I thought. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's where
So-
also
She probably takes Anders here and like they just like clink glasses like, oh yeah, we did awesome.
Mm-hmm. And you're surrounded mostly by dwarves, because that's that bar. Dwarves and town guard. So
Another question.
yes,
The potion of water breathing, is it only one potion or is there like a stock of potions?
that will be one, I believe.
Okay.
I know it's weird. But one potion's more than you've got.
True.
Can I also get a charisma check, please? For your
From me?
carousing, yes.
Okay. I believe that's persuasion, right?
I think it's actually pure charisma. I'll just check. Downtime
I
activities.
know Xanathar's is persuasion, but I don't know if this one changed the rules.
These have specific rules for this campaign.
Yeah.
It is just pure charisma. Oh wait, no, it's blah, 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 blah. Yeah, just a charisma check.
Okay. That's
Okay.
a 21.
No problem. Over that time, would you like to be friendly with one of the guards or one of the miners in that tavern?
You guys got any thoughts?
I mean, the guards are gonna be doing the. Go ahead.
Or the third option is you did say you're specifically going there with Anders.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to be friendly with Anders?
Yeah. I think Anders, because we have him as like a sort of friend already. Like he's friendly to us from what I understand.
Yep. He's about the
But
same
I would
age,
like
so,
to
yeah.
I'd like to have him as like I want them to kind of secure their friendship actually.
How
I
much
mean,
secure?
I think Ander did that.
Secure in the business friendship sense.
Okay, just checking. Just checking.
Again, Anders, all you need to do is get a little bit buffer and become a lord. And you know what, Explosia? You'll look different at you.
Mm-hmm. It's just mainly the Lord part, yes. So
I mean,
that's,
people with enough
1
money
week.
can buy their way into a night ship.
That's 1 week. What was the other week?
Yeah. Oh, the second week?
Yep.
Shoot. I didn't have that. I didn't know there was 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Or would you like to do your off week as well with the magic items?
No, I think that DOS loot is looking pretty mighty fine. So I don't think I'm gonna have a whole lot of money.
Are you actually buying the loot? Okay.
Yeah, I might buy the loot. I'm gonna have to think on it, but frick. Is anybody else still have to go?
Nope.
No.
There's only
You're
3 cast
it.
members today. Yeah, that's it.
Darn it! Quick, Zero, come in now.
We'll have our break soon. Don't worry.
Buy it.
I guess she would go on a mission or something with like, was it mercenary or work with the guard for a little while?
Yep. That's no problem.
Being a mercenary is an option.
Yeah, being a mercenary is an option.
If it's during the week that Edric was free, he might help too,
Mhm.
because he wanted to keep Asteria safe or Explosia safe.
Okay.
You know,
So
party
yeah.
members sticking together.
mercenary
I suppose
is an
it-
option.
Yeah, Explosive would look at it, Edric, and go like, "Hey, want to do some? I'm going to be doing some mercenary work. There's a job that will be with some of the soldiers, and I was kind of thinking about going out and doing that. Do you want to come with me?"
Well, we can't have anything happen to you now, so let's do it.
She kind of like goes over to you and like wraps an arm around you, one of yours, and she kind of like gives you that like side hug, and it's like,
Oh, this is wonderful. It's been a while since we've just had a time to like talk to ourselves, like, you know.
Just the two of us.
Mm-hmm.
she says, and she just like nods dumbly.
Edric enjoys the time.
And there's a small little thing I want supposed to ask, like,
Edric, how are you doing, by the way? I know you're not one to talk about your feelings too often, but given, you know, the events with our other friend, I felt it important to ask you and hope that you can be honest with me.
You know, it's
you're getting really quiet.
I'm doing better.
Hmm.
I mean, I guess I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily moving on or forgetting about Ander as much as learning that he wouldn't want us to sulk it up, I guess. And, you know, we've stayed pretty busy, so it's not like we've had, you know, a ton of time to grieve. But I think I'm slowly learning to, you know, be okay.
Edric, you know I meant what I said, right?
Yeah.
I'm not moving on. I've decided. I am going to bring Anders back. Ander back. Anders is doing well, by the way. But I'm going to bring Ander back, and if I have to punch a god of death in the face to do it, I'm going to have to just punch a god of death in the face to do it.
I'm okay with all that. And Edric will smile.
I hope I don't have to do that, though. I'm pretty sure that's a fight I'm going to lose.
Probably be a pretty close fight.
And she'll give you another little hug. And the two of them will go off and do some mercenary work together.
Yep.
Watch out.
You get 2 options for mercenary work. two possible jobs. One is escorting just essentially some caravan work. Another one is essentially the same thing but on a ship. Doing
we saw
just
how
a
the
small
caravan
trip.
worked out last time.
It's with other
I
people.
see.
It's with
Yeah,
other
the
people.
last one was too. All
Like
the guards
Dave.
died, and so did Ander and Dave.
Mm-hmm.
R.I.P.
So,
Dave.
A or B. I've got two roles for made, A or B.
looks at
PTSD
looks at
kicking in.
Edric like ship,
Boat stuff.
boat stuff, and nuts.
Okay.
I mean, that's what Edric is trained for.
Yep.
So
It's also, I think it's just really poignant that that's the like question that's posed right after their conversation. Like, yeah, we've kind of moved on a little bit, and just like, do you guys want to go on another caravan trip? Not that far moved on.
R.I.P. Dave.
Yeah. So the second one you get different coinage.
And explosive is
we should ask which one
bringing
paid
along
more.
that one.
Well-
Anders armor just for good luck. I mean, for testing it, see if what it does with water.
11 gold each.
Times
But-
10.
No, that is 11 gold each.
Wait,
Times
you
10.
took Anders' armor off the stand in the house that Edric did to see what it does?
Yes,
And how
Okay.
are you testing it to see what it does?
I run over to the ocean and I just like with the water, I just kind of like put it in the water and see like, does it do anything?
The wrath of Ander wants to pull it under.
It floats a little.
Hmm.
Because it is made of
But
wood.
it's also made of wood.
Okay,
What else do you do
explosive
for testing?
nods. Tries again. Puts on this time. She puts on the armor. Feels a little weird doing it, but hey, whatever.
It's a
And then
weird
proceeds
fit.
to go into the ocean with it.
It's a weird fit as you put it on. It's like all the ropes feel like they came from the ship, and all the planks of wood also feel like they came from ships. And you can actually see on the inside like partial names of ships, of shipwrecks, of where the actual name of the ship. They're on the inside of the planks. But as you put on, you hear that creaking of the rigging almost as it tightens itself around your body, and then you run back into the water. Is that correct?
Yes.
Floats a little. What else are you
Go a
going to
little
do with
deeper.
it? It feels comfortable. Feels like you could swim in it.
Okay.
Go under the
Explosive.
water.
Goes back a little bit and like goes to closer to the shore, but she's still like waist deep. And then she like looks left, looks right. No one's around to judge her. She like throws back her head and then slams it into the water and tries to take a breath.
Fox, do you remember what it does?
I do. And
Please tell me it does not give me water breathing. I want.
it does not.
Okay, good, awesome.
So essentially what you tested, you slam back into the water, took a breath, and you're fine. You're underwater, slightly floating now with wood, and you have a breath of air. Not given, but the breath you took.
So a breath of air or a breath of water?
Oh no, you just took a breath of
Our
water
lungs
because
filled
that's
with
what you
water
did.
or air?
Oh, he took a breath of water?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
tried to breathe underwater.
Oh, yeah. No, you have water in your mouth.
There is
And
a sudden
lungs.
splashing, like some like Coast Guard off in the distance, just like looks through a telescope and just sees explosion, like not again.
Yeah. So,
As she washes back up onto shore and like chokes out a bit of water, she flashes back to her magic instructor, saying, "Now listen, if you need to learn how a magical item do, the best way to do is an identify spell. However, if that's not available, you can simply attune to the item and you'll learn everything about it. And she stares up at the sky and just closes her eyes.
I hate that mechanic. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do attunement, generally speaking.
Okay.
But I just really hate the mechanic. It's like, oh my god, if you just spend an hour, look, you can use the item and you know everything about it. It's like, well, some items are a bit worse. Some items hide the fact. I like the experimentation.
I do too, honestly.
Shall I give him the details of said armor?
Yeah.
All right. It is Mariner's armor, scale mail. While wearing this armor, you have a swimming speed equal to your walking speed. In addition, when you start your turn underwater with 0 hit points, the armor causes you to rise 60 feet towards the surface. Also, the armor is decorated with fish and shell motifs.
It's not decorated with fish and shell motifs. There's actually fish. There's actually shells and barnacles still on it from the plane because it was made from wreck. But yes.
Well,
and
this will be excellent.
And if you think back on the first ship that you're on, and taking the armor off to then dive to go fishing, and then almost drowning because you couldn't swim.
Oh no, I had a shark chasing me.
Well, that too. Would have been so much more useful to have it on and have a swim speed.
Yeah, wouldn't it have been?
Yeah.
Okay. So Explosia learns that, can't breathe underwater with this thing. The whatever coast qualifies for a coast guard, picks her back up and just you've got to stop doing this, Explosia. You're going to drown one of these days. Explosia nods and wanders back into the city.
Yep.
And informs the Edric and the rest of the party.
Well, you got a beach right next to your house. It could have been there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could have just gone down through the smuggler's cave.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
But how else would she embarrass herself?
And no one would have seen the smuggler's cave. So, is there anything else you want to do the second week? Because I think you still had a week of stuff. Oh no, you did the mercenary. Oh, good. Everything's done. Yeah, we can move on. We'll move on after a break. We'll have a quick break because I know we had some issues at the start, and then we'll go into the next chapter, which is actually the first one that's not from the U series. So we've been following the sinister secrets of Saltmarsh, the danger of Dunwater. We're not going into the final enemy. We're going into something else. We're going into.
I wonder what could it be.
Called something else.
Well, I won't say the name of it because it then kind of lends what it's going to be. Because naming things, of course. No, the destruction of Saltmarsh. No. Also, when we come back, we'll be up a level. So we're also going to be doing hit point rolls.
Yay!
Yeah, I can break 50.
I can break 20. Maybe.
I think yesterday we had a level up and we had everyone rolling under. All rolling D6s and 4, 3, 2, right across, from everybody. It was horrible. Yeah. So we'll be right back. Stick around. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for everyone. And we'll be right back. We'll have some sounds of the sea, as always, from Syrinscape. If you're wondering which sounds that we do use for this, it's actually the High Seas Battle pirate music, because we're totally not pirates here.
Nope, not the P word.
Okay, well let's just do a cannons. No, ships ahoy. With the pirate music, of course. So, be right back. Stick around. Thanks for coming in, and hopefully stick around for the second part. Bye.
And down the hatches, it's the Kraken!
Prepare to be boarded. Ah! Holiday!
Hello, welcome back. Sorry for taking so long. We are also doing some. Get that music a little bit further down. There we go. Hi, welcome back. We're also doing a little bit of character work and upgrading and whatnot. I did totally spring the fact that there's a level up happening. So, not my fault. I'm totally blaming them, but kind of totally my fault as well. So, we're going to come in and we're going to have everyone here. Well, not everyone, but whoever we still had. We've heard back from the other cast members that it doesn't seem like they're going to be able to make it. But again, things happen and it's all okay. And we're not going to kick them off the show because we love our cast members because they make the show. It's not about me, it's about them. So give them lots of praise by giving me money to support them, if that's something. It works for my thoughts anyway. So while everyone is doing their bits and pieces, their level up, can we have the hit dice rolls? Because we're moving from level 3 to level 4. I actually thought you guys were higher than that, but it's like, that's right. The levels are a bit different in this campaign.
I feel like we should be level 5.
Oh,
But,
come
you know.
on. Oh my god.
What
no.
up?
So you just bypass 40.
I now have 57.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Woo.
Okay, now I'm going to roll and roll a 1. Let's do this.
I'm pretty sure people are still in the 20s.
That's usually
Ready?
my luck.
1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay.
Eight's not
It's
bad.
not a 10, but hey.
I was just actually going back to the players area to see everyone's hit points, but they're not there anymore. I moved them. Damn.
Your turn, Edric.
Yeah, that's a low one. 4.
Every time.
Good news, Edric. You no longer have to be the tank.
On the upside, you're still above Asteria.
Yeah, that would be a little unfortunate.
Yeah,
I was only barely above her before. I only had
I
3
know.
more hit points.
I know.
If
And watch, she could still roll higher.
No, she can
You know,
equal.
I think hers is a 6, right?
She can
So
equal.
she can only get up to 22.
Yeah.
I mean, if you would come join me on the docks, you could beef up and, you know,
Get a 10.
yeah.
Yep, I think it's the docks work.
actually-
Yep.
No, I was actually contemplating for my first feat that, I never selected.
You don't have to select one. The option is there.
I just feel like,
Toughness.
But if you
might be
take,
nice to be a little tougher.
tough, you can get a lot more hit points.
Yeah, I would get 6 more points right now.
You'd still
8.
be in the 20s though.
Right.
No, 6, because technically I would have taken it at first level.
No. Even if you take it now, it's still retro. Like it still works like that.
Yep.
Oh,
So
okay.
you'd get 8.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Wait, haven't you taken any feat at all? You haven't taken any stat increase either?
Did
Holy-
you not remember? He is scared of feats.
You could have just done a stat increase instead. But you haven't done either.
You have to
I
take a
know.
beat as a human.
No, he hasn't done either one.
Yeah, I didn't do our beginning feat either. That's why I was saying it would
Yeah.
be 6.
Yeah.
Because it
Ah.
would have been the first feat that I never took.
Yeah, I'd get your stat increase for the wisdom, but
Yeah, that's what I was gonna do for level 4.
Yeah. I didn't even think. I thought you didn't go feat and went to and like just go to the stat increase because that's also the option.
For level 1?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that was an option.
Yeah. The human
it's-
bearing
it's-
gets the
it's-
feat. The other one gets like the
Yeah,
stat
maybe I should
increase.
do that.
yeah, but they get stats to everyone, all
Yeah.
their stats. It's not that good.
So do I buff my wisdom twice?
No, the stat increase he's talking about is the one that gives you a +1 to all your other stats that you know.
Oh,
Other than
yeah.
the two you
It's-
picked to level up.
everything gets +1, or
Yeah,
2 abilities get +1, or the
all of them.
And seeing all of your abilities are sitting on even
They
numbers.
were all even numbers. Yeah. So I think that's why I didn't do that to begin with.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see the reasoning. Yep.
Yeah, I feel like I should have just taken tough. I'll just take tough as my other
Yep.
key. We'll call it now.
Yep. Wow, if you
That'll
if you
be-
died and didn't have that, and
That would have been unfortunate, especially
Yeah.
if it was like 1 hit point that put you over
You're
0.
right.
no, the
So,
massive damage
I
one,
took tough. It would be
it still comes out to 8,
yeah.
no matter what. No matter when
so
you come
31.
in. If you pick it up at 12th level and choose I want to do this feat, it still will come
Yeah.
out in the same,
Yeah.
like 2 plus
Okay.
the level.
There. Cool. All of that stats and feat stuff is over with.
Yay!
So
And
you're
out
up
of
to
the
how many
20s.
hit points?
31.
Okay.
It's a respectable amount.
But wait,
And
if I took it now, doesn't it do half your level and then +2 for each time you've gotten it?
No.
So
It's
for level 1, it would have been 2, and then
It just gives you 2
Yep.
per level. It just gives you 2 per level. So
and
yeah, doesn't matter if you take it the first or the second. Doesn't matter when you take it. It'll give you the same bonus no matter what per level.
now Explosia. How many hit points you at?
44.
All right.
Yeah, so
Respectable.
our group's getting there.
Yeah. With Hunter in the 20s and Asteria in the teens, and Hunter's not getting out of the 20s unless he turns barbarian. I don't think that's going to happen, but who knows? It's 0. He could be trolling us the whole time. Yeah, that's done. Up and done. So we find ourselves after the 2 weeks downtime, doing bits and pieces, shopping possibly. It may be important if you're going to buy those things to actually buy them, because we're moving away from town.
Got him.
Okay, Marco.
So do you think that I should get the necklace?
I don't think
Or
you should get
if
the
anything,
necklace.
you don't think we should buy the necklace?
I think that's the last thing we need.
What about the water breathing?
That's
I
a
like an
150,
appendix.
so
Huh?
that's 150, so it's okay.
Is that how much it was? 150?
Yeah,
If
'cause
it's
it's
common,
free.
it's 75.
It's uncommon.
Uncommon 300.
It's a consumable though, so they're half price, I believe.
Oh yeah, that's usually how it is for. Because that's the same thing you do for like the healing potion as well.
Okay, I'll
You do like
allow it.
half the consumable.
I'll allow it. But anyway,
I feel like in a pinch it could be really useful.
Yeah. I think it
So-
could be useful.
I'm just totally going to keep my mouth shut.
I will buy it, and if anyone else feels the need to chip in, just in case anyone else needs it at the time, it'll be a party thing. We'll do that.
So you will buy it, and if anyone needs it because they're drowning, they have to pay for you.
No. I'm just saying if anyone wants to chip in, because it could be used for anyone, not just me for myself.
I am a little bit
Anyone
low on
else
money
wants
right now.
Wait.
I'm
So
not.
you're saying if I chip in and it doesn't get used by me, I'm out money?
Yeah.
Or
Because it's a
or
party
is it or is it one of those where it's like, you will refund me if I don't get my water breathing?
No, it's one of those. I am purchasing this in use for the party, not myself. So if you would like to pitch in and be nice because I'm paying the money for it, then you can. And if you don't, then okay.
I will give him 15 gold.
Every bit helps.
I will give you protection against poison and fire.
Okay.
All right, cool.
No, I'm low on cash, so I can't really
No,
help.
you're fine. You're fine. Like I said, the other two might want to chip in too. It just depends on what they have.
I'm already playing a support character.
Mm-hmm. So we open our scene. 2 weeks have passed and things have just not really normal, but then again, you guys aren't really normal in itself. They're still don't look totally not normal. But so we open our scene when at night time at the communal house where everybody's there. A storm is brewing outside because I have sound effects, and why not? A storm is brewing outside, and you hear in between the thunder crack, thunder, a large banging at your front door.
I mean, this is like Ferret's like maybe second time at the actual house. So like I'm not answering the door.
The door slowly creaks open into this haunted manor
So
by
as in,
itself.
you open the door with your
With an-
unseen servant.
Yeah. And he from deep within the bowels of the manor, he hears a.
Are you looking at the door, like from the darkness, from the...
No, Explosive eventually rounds the corner.
Okay.
A girl in like a nightcap and like this silk.
From the upstairs
what?
balcony, you look down
Yeah.
into the to see the front door. A man. So I say a man, but at first glance is quite a large man. But then you see a little bit better in the light. Looks like quite a large half orc is standing at the front door, waiting, about to knock again. He's dressed
The
quite...
door's open.
Well, no, about to knock on the side of the door. When the door's open, he hasn't entered. He's tall. He's quite large in stature and strength, but that's hard to see underneath the fine clothing that he wears. Almost a suit from the capital. But
Okay.
can I get a perception check, please, from you?
Okay.
This is actually one that you would probably be working for you.
Okay. Perception. 15.
Okay. With your fine knowledge of the capital, you notice that the suit is not, although it was once tailored, it hasn't been adjusted for a while, and it's showing a little bit of wear to your keen eyes of the capital's fashion.
Okay.
He still waits there, waiting for you to come down the stairs and address him.
Okay. Explosive goes over to the balcony and just kind of tips over the balcony, and the unseen servant kind of cushions the fall as she like flips end over end and lands on her butt. Then she kind of like gets up, just saunters forward.
Yes.
Her eyes are bleary.
The tall half orc seems to be not amused but not concerned about your welfare. Just waits for you to come closer.
She does so.
My master asked for your presence in the town.
And who would your master be?
My master, Lord Albrecht.
Lord Ulbrich. That's ringing. The name's ringing bells, but I can't remember who.
History check. Again, this is the right person to ask for.
15.
You remember stories of a young, like this is from when back in the capital, of a young ambitious noble making waves in the trading industry, very quickly come into money and very quickly expansion, and then suddenly everything just like everything went to waste. All of his companies collapsed, but you can't remember the exact reasons or anything like that. But you do remember, like several years ago, that there was like the Albrecht name of being someone that was very, very like ambitious and wealthy and like accumulating wealth and accumulating power through mercantile means, and then suddenly everything just collapsed.
Explosia does nothing to hide her displeasure.
One of them.
No, it's more of the merchants and stuff like that. Oh, okay. I'm out of my depth. Explosia
Just-
not.
I'll rouse the others of the house. Oh,
Explosia like waves her hand over herself and immediately like cleans herself. Hair fluffed, perfectly foofed, and just the little bit of spit on the side of her mouth clean gone. Even her clothes looked pressed now. And she extends a hand, regaining some sort of regal bearing, and towards the orc.
Explosia Lulu. No, Explosia Lutheran Ludovico.
The tall half orc, warty skin, one chipped tusk, on his one chipped tusk in his mouth, bends over and bows to you. My name is Vertog.
A pleasure. I will go rouse the others now.
And she will like saunter back into the house, trying to rouse her mind. She'll knock on everyone's doors, wake them up.
I'm in the basement
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Which part of the
because
basement?
I don't have a room yet.
Okay.
So I'm in that big area in the basement, and
barracks.
Yeah.
Yep, and he actually leaves the door open towards the smuggler's cave just to hear the faintest sound
Aw.
of water.
So you're in the room where the fireplace killed someone?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes. Exactly that. The first
It
first
smells
kill.
like home.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, exactly that. With that door open to the smuggler's cave, you may just hear the lapping of the water from the ocean. And
Yep.
and it helps you get to sleep at night, knowing that you're totally not a pirate.
Nope.
Nope, not a pirate at all. The half-orc waits at the door. Doesn't enter, just waits.
Okay. Yeah, she gets you too, Edric. And everyone else.
Once you are suitably ready, the half-orc directs you to a carriage waiting just down the path. He doesn't take note of the rain. He seems to be covered, like he's covered in the storm, in the rain itself, but doesn't take much notice.
Boom. Parasol.
Leads you to the
Umbrella
carriage. He steps up to the front and actually drives the carriage himself into town. It's one of the few carriages in town. It's not common, like people don't use carriages around, usually wagons, but it's one of the nicer carriages, and you believe it's one of the richer merchants, but you can't remember which one, especially at night at the moment. In town, he doesn't direct you to the Wicked Goat or to one of the upmarket establishments, none of the manor houses or anything like that. He actually drives to the Empty Net, the slum tavern, where you can hear the fights already happening, the music playing loudly, and the raucous laughter happening inside. Instead of going into the front door, he leads you to around the back, through the kitchens, up a private stairway to a residence. inside a inside you meet Ulbrich, Lord Ulbrich. He welcomes you in. I'll see if I got this. That one there. He welcomes you in, and he introduces himself, and we've got this.
Thank you for meeting with me. Thank you. I'm Aubrek Dralian. I need brave souls such as yourselves to complete a salvage operation for me. My ship, the Emperor of the Waves, has been spotted adrift in the southern sea, apparently abandoned. I need you to retrieve a magic box, which is on board.
Hmm.
Okay, well, I believe that would be within our abilities.
Looks to everybody.
So what's the going rate for this?
Let's see.
And for waking us up?
He says, well, I'll play the others because I don't have them prepped as what I usually have. Here we go. Let's do one.
I offer you a 10% fee to recover it. 10,000 gold pieces. As a gesture of good faith, here's an advance.
And he offers you 200 gold pieces.
Well, I mean, what you're offering as in, let's call this an advance, it is not really what I would consider an advance. I mean, you're giving us 2%.
Let's say
I would say at least we want 20%.
No.
It's an advance. I mean, you're going to end up paying it anyways, but more than 2, because 2 seems like a minuscule fee for the risk that we are about to take for a large sum of money.
I love the fuck. Like,
The
I love the
box
fair. It goes like,
contains all of my material wealth.
Well, if that were to be true, you would not have the cash on hand for an advance. You obviously are a lord and you have other means, but more of an advance than 2% of what you would be paying us to do this work.
The ship was
behind,
recently spotted adrift, approximately 5 days out from land.
That's wrong. So,
yep. Behind Ferret, Explosive whispers over to Edric the details about that this man has lost a lot of his fortune.
You don't think he's lying?
Not have it.
Yeah.
As
no, what she means is
insight,
like
an insight from people if you would like.
Okay.
I definitely would like to do an insight because I think he's not telling the full truth on how much he can give.
I'd say yeah. After her telling me something like that, I would too.
Yeah. So 21 and 16. I didn't get explosives come through. Oh, now we're getting through.
Yeah. Explosive is just getting a read on the guy in general.
Yeah. So again, like with his butler, with what Explosive saw, although he's dressed nice, his clothing's shown age. like it hasn't been updated for a long time, or as if he hasn't been able to afford much for a long time. And it may be one of his last nice pieces of clothing left. Similar to the butler. He does seem to be quite honest. He doesn't seem to actually have funds. And this is his funds.
All right. And that's everything with a 21.
Yes.
Okay. Um,
Like even the room, this is the cheapest inn in town.
mm-hmm.
Like he's not
knowing
he's slumming it.
knowing that we like he's had to request us, and noticing his ratty clothing, or not his best clothing. I just want to be like, you wake us up in the middle of the night. You're offering us this job with no one else around. Now, again, you may not want others around, but you didn't, come to us yourself. You could have came to the house and no one else was around. And, you're asking us to go, retrieve your wealth, and that we would be given, so much gold out of it. What are you not telling us as far as the dangers that we are going to face? Because I think for only getting 2%,
Upfront.
we up front, which is 98% at the end. But we need to know what we are dealing with. Is this 2% worth us risking our lives? Because we could go do another job and make 200 gold. We don't have to go risk our lives for something that we may not end up getting on the back end.
The ship has been missing for several years now, and the reason why I'm speaking to you quietly tonight is because I'm worried that someone else may see it adrift and claim it as salvage, and this is my entire worldly possessions in that box. I if they get a hold of it, although they won't be able to open it, it may get lost again. I'm looking for a group of adventurers like yourself that are able to board the ship once it's reached, and reclaim the box and bring it back. I have secured passage, a ship to carry you, and they will take you to it, and if possible, have it towed back. If not, we would ask you to go onto the ship itself and reclaim it. But this ship has not been seen for many years now. It got lost in a storm. Everyone thought it was gone, but apparently it still floats. But it looks like, well, it was only seen several days ago, like several days to the south, adrift.
And just don't mind me asking, why would you put all of your worldly possessions on one ship?
A trade
with
deal. A very,
right.
very lucrative trade deal. I had to liquefy all my assets to make a single trade deal, which was going to, well, it was going to make those assets far more insubstantial what I would call remaining profit. Profits for merchants are in the percentages, the profits for this was multiplying the input of what I was going to put into it.
Explosive scratches the back of her head and thinks,
Oh, wait, can I ask a question?
Yes, young lady.
Yes, Explosio Lutheran Ludovico, pleasure to meet you.
she gives a little curtsy.
He's a bit apprehensive when he hears the name. It's like, yes, it's a pleasure. I wasn't aware that that you were a part of this group. I do hope that you will keep things quiet and not.
Of course. If we fellow nobles have to stick together.
Yes, we do.
She says, and like, she doesn't believe it. She just can't. But she's curious about.
So may I ask what? You clearly had to leave the ship for some reason. What happened?
I wasn't on the ship. I was to meet the ship.
Oh, okay. Did you receive any word of it? Like,
what? All we heard
we
was
were
it was
attacked by
lost.
pirates.
It was lost in a storm, and it's been missing for several years now.
Is it possible it's a ghost ship?
I truly do not know, but that is why I'm willing to pay you 10,000 gold pieces to recover.
Explosive's eyes, like, she seems afraid of the concept of ghost ship, but her eyes are sparkling.
From the reward or from the fact that he's a noble?
From the idea of fighting evil ghost pirates.
Now,
This will make the greatest tale of valor.
Ferret was thinking while she was talking to him about, he said that the typical merchants make percentage, and with this trade deal, he will be making
Was
making multiple,
Yeah.
right?
Was going to
It's out of
fell
the question
through.
already.
Right. Now, from what I heard before, is this sounding something similar to when I was on the docks of, like, he could be, potentially running another, or was trying to run another smuggling ring to make a ton of money.
Smugglers would make percentages, yes, like that.
Mhm.
The Sea Princes, possibly. Sea Princes being the pirate kings, essentially, the pirate princes.
Right.
But even still,
I know them well.
if like rare spices, like rare items, rare substances, could also do that, especially if they're traveling afar.
Magical items, too.
So, who was this trade deal with?
Oh, the trade deal has gone through, and the trade deal fell through, and I cannot speak with my contacts.
Well, if it's fallen through, I mean, we need as much information as we can gather before we accept this mission.
The information is this: there is a blue box, magical blue box. I need you to retrieve it. Are you going to retrieve it, yes or no? The reward is 10,000 gold for recovering it and bringing it back to me safely without any other interference, and I am able to give you an advance payment of only 200 gold. I have arranged a ship to take you there, which is guarded, and it should be secure, but it is your job, if needed, to be on board that ship and to recover it. If not, then hopefully we can pull it back to shore. But the idea is to keep this very quiet.
Explosive's totally on board.
I want to...
I will give you no other details because I either do not know it or I do not want you to then take it upon yourself to recover this ship or my ship as salvage. Knowing now what you know.
That is understandable. Let me confer with my friends here, and we will, make a decision.
Yes.
And I want to,
I mean,
and
poker face.
I want to pull them to the corner, and
But before he pulls you off to the corner and says, make no understanding, make no misunderstanding, the money is in promissory notes, redeemable only by myself. You will not be able to open the box, and you will not be able to redeem it even if you can open the box.
Okay. Well, I will relay that information, and then I want to pull them to the corner out of earshot.
It's a small room. You think it's going to be hard to get out of earshot, but...
All right.
We could just go to a different room.
We will go into the next room, discuss. We will be back in, a few minutes with
So you go
our
out into the
answer.
corridor. Because it's essentially it's an inn. It's a private inn room. It's a small...
Yeah.
Yes. So you go out to the corridor with drunks walking past.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And, I'm occasionally, with the drunk walking past, grabbing at their, coin purses just for a little bit extra bonus. But
Suppose who's going to make some white noise around the door,
nice.
just to muffle us a little bit.
All right. I don't like the sound of this.
I do.
Well,
It sounds absolutely wonderful. We get to, if it's a ghost ship, then we get to slay some evil monsters, and I don't have to worry about my conscience. And also we get to lay some poor souls to rest. It's absolutely wonderful. Oh, also we make a lot of money for Ander.
Bounce, 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 bounce.
He didn't confirm that it was a ghost ship. And secondly, he didn't confirm any real details about this besides it's a ship, it's got a blue box, and we got to bring it back. And we're only getting a 2% cut on the final pay up front, which means to me, he probably doesn't have the money that he says he has.
Explosia looks to Edric she doesn't know.
And
coming from my history I'm just going to come out and say I've been a pirate. All right. So coming from my history.
Good pirate or bad pirate?
Yes. Coming from my history, when they can't produce something more substantial up front, they typically do not have the money on the back end.
in his defense, we've pretty much never gotten a percentage cut up front for any mission or job we've ever done.
Right. But, we have been able to wager for more money on the back end.
Well, here's the, I guess, stipulation of if we were to accept such a clause is Asteria knows books. I'm sure she knows the law. And I know Explosia knows the law. Could there not be some kind of contract written up so that they are binded to pay us upon the production of this box that he's asking for?
If you want to write up a binding contract and one of us or maybe even someone from the council holds on to that binding contract, I'm fine with this. Obviously, we're going on a ship, and that's great for me. But he just doesn't seem fully forthcoming of who he's dealing with and what he's scared of. But if you guys want to write it up, you know me, I will go get my face smashed in a few times and we'll get this job done.
The only issue I think we'll have there is he wants to keep this under wraps as much as possible, apparently.
I'd say
I doubt
only
he's going to want the council to know of this contract It would be more of a contract that we would hold on to, and if he could not produce the funds promised, then we would have to go public with it.
I beg to differ. I say, Explosia.
Yes?
Explosia, you
She puts her finger in your mouth.
why?
I've never met a pirate like you before.
All right.
Why don't you say R? I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted. You're saying.
You have become quite close friends with a young Anders from town.
Mm-hmm.
If Anders is part of our troop, or we say he is part of our troop, and he will be our contact on land while we are out at sea, we can have Anders hold on to the contract, and he can put it somewhere where only he knows or whatever, but he would not be. If we can get Anders to agree to secrecy on this, but we have someone on our side, I think, we can proceed forward.
Here's the problem with that. You bring another person into it, that's another person that gets cut of whatever we get.
I'm
He's
okay
gonna
with
see
that.
the contract. He'll know how much it is. He's going to want an equal cut.
I'm
Especially
sorry.
not scopely.
I would give a portion of my cut to Anders.
What's
to
the
take care of
difference in
this.
us putting it somewhere ourselves versus him doing it? If
We're
we
just
die and
taking the
don't come
contract with
back,
us.
we die and don't come back. Money's not going to do us any good.
Yeah.
If you don't come back, you're not getting any money anyway.
That's fair. We could
you
take
have
it
to
with
return
us.
the box. The box is the only way to get paid.
Well, I don't.
'Cause
I'm
the
not even
money's in
saying
the
we have to
box.
take the contract with us. We have a house. I'm sure we could find somewhere to put it.
A loose floorboard or something.
It's a
I did
smuggler's house. I'm
reconstruct
sure
a
you
lot
can
of the
find.
house.
Yeah. All right. That works for me. If we write up a contract, and I'm looking at Asteria and Explosia for like the legality of things, because I don't know that. I know the slim down version of legality of things and how to skirt the legality of things. So I'm looking to them to write this up and just being like, if you guys can write up, let's do this.
Okay. Explosia nods. She definitely will need Asteria's help doing some of the more legally details.
Yep, and that's no problem. For Edric, you may also know that like the essentially promissory notes that he's talking about, that a church would be able to fund them, or no.
Right. Because they can get those funds back from the capital. Or
Yeah.
whatever.
So church would be one of the places you'd be able to get it from. Explosia, you would think that also a noble would be another. Or an agent, direct agent of the crown.
Ah, so that's why he was a little bit concerned about me being there.
Well, he seemed very, very apprehensive of having another noble there.
Yeah.
And knowing that this is his life savings. And he was very, very cautious of the fact that he doesn't want anyone else to just claim his ship, which is also his life savings.
And the
I think
Ludovico
what Bush was
family
also
is...
saying there is with the promissory note, the person, it's not like we could just like break into the box and take them all to the church and get them changed out ourselves. He would still have to sign off. It's basically a check.
Yep, it's exactly that.
He would still have to have himself to sign off on those funds or whatever.
Yes.
So it's not like we could just like get him and go.
Which is what he kind of said. Is like, you can't open the box, but even if you could, you still can't cash these in.
Unless we had a master forger.
It's going to take more than that.
Or will.
Probably a heavy to spell magic.
I'm not giving the characters 100,000 gold.
Yeah.
At 4th level.
Will you? bunch of teenagers with 100,000 plus gold. All right.
So, like, what's the D&D version of a Lamborghini, a racehorse?
Probably like a fire chariot with some fell steeds.
No, that's the Lamborghini Diablo. I'm thinking more the Ferrari, actually,
Oh,
the
yeah,
racehorse,
yeah.
the prancing horse. An exotic zoo.
Yeah. Just as a side thing, like Explosive really is happy. Like writing, Explosive's never like really enjoyed contracts, but this is one of the few times she's really happy about it because she like told Asteria like, "Hey, you can be my advisor," and this is really a moment where it's like Explosive's got shivved and backstabbed on so many deals before. And it's so nice to have somebody that she can actually trust, who knows what they're doing.
Yep.
So Explosive will go back in, but before she does that, she looks at you guys.
Oh, by the way, should I try?
She like puts on like a serious face.
Should I try to be more noble again? Like with the lizard men. Also, did I do a good job? I don't know if I did a good job.
Just to mess with Explosia, Ferret goes, "Arr," and then goes, "No."
What? I mean, yay!
I think it's a no.
You've only been asking it for like an hour, and or what feels like an hour.
Oh, okay. I was mostly concerned about like, do you want me to try to be like, okay, we'll help you, but we also have to have like a contact with you or something like, or help or something.
I don't think it's a bad idea. I think the way you handled things with the lizard folk was very prestigious, I guess.
Explosive turns beet red.
I mean, I think it's not a bad idea, but I also, I think we still be wary. I don't like this guy.
Agreed.
The words coming out of your mouth are having little effect beyond prestigious.
So weird that Edric just agreed with something, huh?
Gives nods like and she like goes in walking on clouds.
I love how Edric agreed to something after I outed myself.
Well, he agreed with what you said, not with,
Yeah.
what you are.
Yeah.
But I guess it would explain some things in his mind that he's probably already suspected.
Now, did I collect much coin off drunken people?
Can you do a sleight of hand, please?
Oh, yes, I can. 13.
You get one purse, and this is the lower of the two. Let's see. You get six copper and 2 silver.
Nice.
Woo! I'm making some money back.
You just ruined somebody's entire week, but hey, you got chump change.
Yeah.
Yeah. Explosive will go in, and I don't really want to roleplay the details, but Explosive will generally just try to convince him into something of like a, hey, okay, well, we've considered this. They're not all in favor of it, though. Tell you what, though, noble to noble, I feel for you. And can I get a we'll help you here. We scratch right now, today, we scratch your back, but, maybe in the future, you scratch our back. Beyond just the payment. We nobles, after all, have to look out for each other.
Yes, we do. But part of this payment is silence. And if you can't agree to that, then I'll be sending out an invitation. I'll ask you to leave, and I'll send out an invitation to Ingo the drover, and get his help.
Wait 1 sec. What part of that implied that it wasn't going to be silent?
He's just making sure that's reinforced.
Okay, good. Yeah, Explosia understands that part, and she'll
But he also
get with
implies
Hysteria.
that if you don't make this agreement and if you're not happy with it, he will just go to Ingo the drover and make another agreement with the other mercenaries in town.
Yeah, Explosive's not mean and ruthless enough to just to tell him, well, we'll just go tell everybody then.
So
Unfortunately, she is too nice for that.
So
But
I have options here. I came to you because currently the town thinks highly of you, and when we arrived in town, that is who people were talking about. Personally, I believe you're too young, but my assistants here said let's go for the young ones. They'll be less greedy, but apparently you may be.
Well, we just want to make sure that what you offered is what we get. And therefore, these two are going to have you sign a contract with us, making sure that we get what we deserve.
A private contract, of course.
Mhm.
This won't be going to
Fair, yes.
any court or council or anything.
Or
Unless the agreement has been broken. So as long as you keep your end of the bargain, the contract will be destroyed.
Does the contract say the actual dollar amount or the percentage
Yes.
amount?
yes.
It will say the dollar amount.
He does say I would prefer the contract say the percentage amount, as that is the agreed upon, the percentage of the entirety.
Okay.
And
But
that way we
if-
can have it
and then
signed
that-
by someone publicly, so they can actually verify it.
Yes.
Would
That
be
seems good to
more
me.
agreeable?
The problem with that is you've already stated how much money
And-
is in the chest, or what.
And
is
you also know
worth
that as
in the
well.
chest.
The case is we don't want
But
someone else to
if-
know that.
Here's my thing though.
If it's less.
And I'm not accusing, but if you happen to not be telling the truth and say there's only 1,000 gold worth of anything in there, then we only get 100 gold for something you promised 10,000 for.
Young lad, I have spent over 1,000 gold already on this expedition. I've already hired a ship. I have provisioned that ship. The ship is for guards as well. All I need is people to go and board my property in case it's needed. That is it.
Then
I
why
would
do you care
rather-
if it's a percentage or a dollar amount.
I'm asking you to take that risk, and I'm giving you some money in advance, my last money, to be able to do this. If you're not interested in it, then leave, and I'll go elsewhere. It's that simple.
I want to persuade him. And just saying, if this box is that important to you, and you are only offering
I
us,
have no extra money. That is it. You want me to tell I'm broke? I'm broke. I am absolutely broke. This is my last 200 gold. I have nothing for drinks. I have nothing for clothing. I'm living in this shithole.
That's
in
fine.
this shithole
That's
town.
fine. I will make a different deal with you. Give us no upfront payment, but we put the actual dollar amount on the contract. And that way you can use that money to live while we are going to get your life savings back.
If you want
That
it
is a
on,
fair.
I'm just trying to hide the fact that I have no money. So a
But you
contract
wouldn't have
which
no
actually
money.
has the money that says I've got this much floating at sea, and if someone else sees that, if someone steals it from it, picks your pocket, this is not the best neighborhood.
But this
Then they
this
will know enough
contract's not
details.
going public. This contract is private. It's between us and you. And if something happens where the money amount is not reached when we return, then it will go public. But as far as right now, it is a contract between us and you. We are not going public, so no one will know about the money amount. I am willing to give up the payment now to put the money on the contract between you and us, and that is the only people who see it right here in this room.
He turns to Explosion and says, "My lady, you are from the Ludovico family. You are the lady I assume you are. I don't think there's two of you. How quickly do things not turn private in the city between nobles when there's large sums of money at stake? Do you understand where I'm coming from?"
Explosive scratches the back of her head, thinking back to, let's see, within the past 3 years, I've seen that happen at least 7 times. Yeah. And Explosive knows deep down, all 7 of those times she was stabbed in the back.
Yeah.
Okay. So
that's why I'm trying to hide the fact that there's this much money involved.
For putting your percentage. I have the ability to make it so that people within a certain area have to tell the truth. If you're willing to submit to this truth test and verify the amounts, then we can put a percentage down.
If that is what you must, but if it is harmful magic, and he looks over to his butler, and then looks back, I would suggest it wouldn't be harmful magic. Or advise against it being. And I will not answer any questions about who the deal was with.
Nope.
Understood.
Only questions will be asked about finance. You can feel free to not answer anything else.
Good.
Is everyone okay with that?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, so how are we going to make sure that, once this goes off, truth telling is happening?
I can tell.
Yep.
That's fair.
I am a truth detector.
You're a truth teller. Dun, dun, dun.
Unless, of course, this guy is anything like Explosive's family, then he knows how to lie to those things. But
nope. You can't lie to it. You can only not answer it.
There's a subclass that can lie to it.
Like what?
Either way.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, it's in Xanathars.
Either way. You cast the spell. I'm assuming it's got a saving throw to resist. He doesn't seem to. He doesn't. You don't feel him resisting. It used to have a saving throw, but yeah. And he's honest that the deal was to be 100,000 gold, and there are promissory notes that make up 100,000 gold in his box.
And we would be receiving 10,000 gold.
And receiving 10% of that, which is 10,000 gold.
And no one else can open this box.
And nobody else can open the box. And he's telling the truth on that too.
And he doesn't know of any immediate danger. He only knows that it just showed up.
He is quite clear that he's only just heard reports that he was seen recently. He won't give the location. He's actively not giving you the location. Just in case you just stuff him in.
Yeah, there are things he can not
jump or
answer.
ship. But yeah,
he seems to be very truthful to me. And sir, I apologize if it seems a little much, but I think in such cases of unknown danger with such a bountiful reward, one can't be, too careful.
Well, I understand you're young, but sometimes things are too good, and they are true. And this, you've made a reputation here. I made a reputation when I was young for taking risks and earning quite a bit of coin. This is one of the reasons why I came to you, and I didn't go to Inigo the Drover, although he's much more established and has a longer running reputation. But sometimes you need to take risks, which is what I did. Unfortunately, I lost everything several years ago. Now I'm trying to reclaim. Maybe I'll be able to rebuild
While we
and
have
get
you
some new
here,
clothes.
is the reason why you came to us is because you couldn't pay Indigo? Just curious.
It's not answering.
Yeah.
But
We'll
he
just
did. But he
assume
did
that
say
10 minutes have
he
passed.
did say
He wouldn't answer this
he did say
question,
under the truth that you have made a reputation, and that you are young, and that when he was young, he made a reputation for taking risks, which is one of the reasons why he came to you.
We don't need more than 10%.
It might be two truths, but
I know you're a greedy P word, but we don't need more than that.
No, I'm still weary that we show up and there's nothing in the box, and therefore, our 10% is 0.
Hence, I'm giving you some in advance.
that would be
If there's nothing in the box and the box is not even on the ship, then you're still getting some money for your time, and that's it. And I'm out all the money, not just for paying you up front, but also for the ship that's taking you and the guards on that ship and everything else.
out of character.
the
I can't
supplies.
really see any reason for him to try to keep try so hard to jerk us over. He seems to be in a very desperate position right now, and has essentially is risking every last piece on one last gamble.
And like he said, I mean, even the box couldn't be there. It could not be there.
Yeah, exactly.
But
He's risking it all in one gamble.
that's what we're going for, you know.
Yeah.
And
All
if you're
right.
part of that gamble, you get the rewards if it succeeds.
And I will say, out of character, Karsh did say he wasn't going to give a bunch of teenagers 100,000 gold, so I'm guessing it's probably there.
Whoops.
At least I would
That's
hope it
nutty.
is.
But at the same time, I might not be giving the bunch of teenagers
he could be
10,000
giving
gold.
us, false truths. Are you calling
right.
me a liar? Oh, I ain't calling you a truther.
Okay.
I was told last night that I'm very devious. It's like, well, it's part of being GM. But anyway, my contract, it's vague, but it has all the bits in there. Like it's got all the contractual bits that's needed. But he does ask for the vagueness, as I said, around the actual money amounts and the details of kind of what's going on, so people don't. If someone picks it up and looks at it without knowing the context, they're not going to know exactly what's going on. That's the idea. That's what he's trying. That's what he tries to put into it and express his concerns. But he does say that the ship will be the ship. Like if you do agree, once it's signed, the ship will be leaving first light in the morning, and gives you the name of the ship, and the captain will know where to go.
Okay.
All
I
right.
suppose he will shake the man's hand and give a smile, and she'll say,
Well, it has been good to meet you. I do hope our endeavor is successful and that we can return you to your fortunes.
Now,
And when we
hope
do,
that-
I do hope you won't forget the people who helped you.
well, I hope that one time, if you lose your fortune, then and you're trying to hire someone to get it back, that they are less combative, I could say. But please enjoy your journey. You'll be meeting the Soul of Winter in the morning. Report to Captain Windrone. She'll be able to take you on your way.
"Yeah." Exposia apologizes for looks at Ferret.
There's nothing to apologize for. He is shifty.
I know. Oh yeah. See, that's the thing that you have to apologize even to the shifty.
No,
people.
nope, nope. Ferret does not apologize.
Oh no, I'm
Yeah,
not apologizing. You're not
P-words don't
apologizing.
apologize.
I apologize for you. Please
And-
excuse the rabble I travel with.
Ferret's
You're,
thinking to himself,
you're,
are you kidding me?
your meter with me, as far as your standing with me, goes down every time you do that to him.
So that's also purchased for you. That there's other things, provisions there
Mm-hmm.
awaiting you.
Hey, do you want money or do you not want money?
Yes. He also doesn't like being berated by nobles.
I don't think I was
unfortunate.
berated. I really don't think I was playing that as. If you
No.
want me to do that, I can go that far.
No. It was more like essentially backhanded by Explosia by being like, I'm sorry for the people that ride with me, when it's like, I know full well and clear this guy is shifty. I should not be
Yeah.
apologizing for
You
that.
think he's shifty, and it was your own party berating, like noble berating you. So
Yeah.
I don't,
Mhm.
So there is one thing you will notice though. When Explosia is out of the room, her expression just like falls. Like like she looks at you guys like with a weak smile.
Still don't like it.
Yeah. You don't have to. Explosia doesn't like it either.
but it's
Guess
money.
we better get some sleep.
Yeah. It's for Ander.
For Ander.
Mm-hmm.
Don't
Dave.
even know this person.
He was a better man than you.
Ooh.
This
Ooh.
player was
Edric
much
would
better
smile
too.
and walk away.
Oh,
Mhm.
that is not in character.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
Oh gosh, no! Explosia would never say that. Ugh.
Well, you just found out he was a pirate, so
Just-
I don't
just
know how
imply
you really
it.
Oh no! Explosia talks your ear off. She's so fascinated by the idea of you being a pirate.
He
Like-
just
Checking-
keeps
checking the
walking.
legs, where's
like
the hook?
Yeah, no, like he's just continually walking back, just ignoring. Oh, Baboonsky.
Hey, Baboonsky,
Aw.
welcome in.
Hey.
Hey.
Wow, they just keep on coming.
Oh no!
Oh my
no!
God.
Don't go too far. Don't go too far. We've
Thank
had
you for
such
the
a great
donations.
session. Oh no!
They're just afraid if it goes too far, you're going to end up giving me a D20 to kill them all. But thank you for the donation. If you want to elect who that donation goes to, someone will be getting a D8 for a skill check, attack roll, or saving throw. So either Ferret, Explosia, or Edric. Please don't give it to Hunter or Asteria. They're not here, and it's really hard for them to make decisions for that. It's happened. I only say it because
Hey,
it has happened.
Fox.
But thank you, welcome in. Hopefully you've been having
Did you
a great
notice
day.
the slight difference in our names in the chat?
Is there differences in names in chat?
Yeah, mine has this thing that says first next to it, like I'm a
No.
founder.
Oh
No.
yeah, that's really cool.
I-
How about that?
I haven't
Hold on,
just
hold on.
noticed that.
Hold on.
Wow, Typo has one too.
Hold on.
Amazing.
Hold on. And if you hover over the dice between them, it says 5 month. It says 5 month.
Congratulations.
Right there.
They've
You
just
know what
turned
it
that
doesn't
off.
say? Founder.
Yep. Uh-huh.
We
Yep,
found
I
out
got
last
it.
week. They
Please excuse the rabble that is Fox.
they all subscribed on the same day, but they took the last of the new founders away, and Fox is the last one to sub that day.
Love
What's
it.
the actual date that you guys subscribed?
I would say it's all the same day.
It was the same day as you.
Yeah.
Just go
'Cause
look at your renew date.
We found it out last week. It was
Now you're making me look at my subscriptions.
So who gets the D8?
Because I thought
Who
we
do you
all
want to
did.
get
I
to the
thought we
D8?
all did them like a week apart.
My next sub anniversary is in 20 days.
Babunski, clearly you
So,
should give it to
November-
Fox. He needs it as he's not a founder.
November 11th.
So in the morning.
So you subbed a week after me.
Oh, you give
That's
it to
why.
me?
Wow.
Oh, that's so kind. Thank you.
So me and Typo were on the same day probably, and you were
Yeah.
a week later.
I
So this
feel
has never
so
happened
bad.
before. I get a D8 because I'm amazing.
Thank you, Babunski.
Thank you so much.
We'll remember that when we die.
Fox and Capri, can you please put inspiration on your character sheets because you've been doing so well. You really have been doing. I've been loving it. It's been a while since I've handed out inspiration, but yeah.
Well,
It's been-
and
the interactions over the last few weeks, but just between the two, of this this slider between how much they hate and like not hate each other, it's just been entertaining. We might need a slider.
yeah, I
'cause it
think
goes
we
up and down.
might.
Anytime that Ferret has to talk about money, it just drops down because he is
Yeah.
dumb.
Barrett's not the best at haggling.
In this conversation, I was not wrong.
You were 20%. Gosh, no.
Yeah,
Yeah, you like
No,
the
no,
big
no, no,
switch.
no. It wasn't 20. Well,
that's
yeah, you
what
said-
Explosive
you
was
said
apologizing for.
20%.
He was
Right.
like,
I'm sure you were waiting. I'm sure you were
20%.
hoping for a counter offer, but that is
Right.
not what happened.
right. No.
And 20
he-
would have been too much for asking for something else.
I'm
20%
sorry,
of
but
100,000.
I'm sorry, he was offering 2%. 2% is less than what you pay a waiter at a restaurant.
Granted,
Up
he
front.
what Fox was asking for was 20% of our 10%.
Yeah,
So it would have been
that's still,
2,000.
That's still a lot of money. To,
But yeah,
trust
that's
somebody
still
with
a lot.
initially.
Okay.
It's
But-
especially when he's offering 2% up front, going to 2%, 20% of that. Like, nope.
Yep.
Yeah, like if you would have asked for like 5% or maybe like 10% max, but
But he
Like,
didn't have
that's actually why Explosive was
Yeah.
like apologizing for you specifically,
Yeah.
and not Edric, because
Yeah. But the thing
mine
is,
was more of a
he just didn't have it.
I saw that it was untrusting, and with what Explosia told me, it made me untrusting of him.
Hmm.
So that's why I was in the route that I was in, because I don't talk very often.
Yeah.
So
So,
Edric likes
sometimes,
to be
sometimes
meaningful.
it's just false information, and like you're just coming to the wrong assumptions.
it's actually why Explosive tells Edric, especially because she knows she's far too trusting, and she knows Edric has a really good head on his shoulders, even though
And
he
now
doesn't
you
talk
know
much.
he can make people tell the truth.
Yeah. So it's kind of like Explosia likes. Explosia really does like Ferret for like his personality, but she's just like, when we start diplomacy, it's just like,
She knows why he wasn't the captain of the ship.
yeah, like Explosia is pretty tense, but even she realizes this.
Well, who's the person in the ship in charge of like ordering stock and things like that? He wouldn't have been that
Fox.
either.
No,
Yeah.
he was swabbing
No.
the poop deck, and that's okay.
No.
Still a pirate.
No.
I mean, Explosia doesn't think that. She thinks he's like still like some cool swashbuckling
Oh, yeah.
He
pirate.
cleans the barnacles
But-
off the underside of the boat.
No. Like he knows about money and whatnot. It's just like he also feels like everyone is trying to cheat him.
Yeah.
And he's a pirate, so he wants all the money.
Mhm.
Even
I
though
mean,
some of it
Yeah.
is, for the goodness of his heart and the family that he doesn't know.
Yeah. Honestly, if Anders didn't die, that would be a very like you would need somebody to like help Explosia like be more aggressive in negotiations. But with him dead, yeah, she wants
Do we
money.
know Do we know about Ferret like giving us like family money and stuff like that, or no?
No one knows.
Nope.
Because you said you told us that you were from Salt Marsh,
Mm-hmm.
but
You
didn't
know
tell us
that
who your
much.
family was,
No,
or if your family was even there.
I said my family was merchants there.
That's right.
That is all I said.
Clearly, that's a lot. Actually, the thing is, Explosives comes from merchants. And she's pretty bad at it generally, so
Yeah.
she's not one to judge.
So in the morning, you go down to the docks, all ready, all packed up for adventure. I'm assuming you have pretty much everything with you that you'll need. One thing I do want to ask in advance, are you taking the wooden armor?
Explosive would go meet with Edric and like ask,
Edric, I do believe we should take this wooden armor if we're going out up to sea.
Why is that?
It aids one in swimming, it would seem.
How so?
Well, it makes you much more buoyant and makes you better at swimming.
How would you know that?
Well, I went out and had to go test it.
You took his armor?
Mm-hmm.
Edric doesn't really know how he feels about it right now.
Mm-hmm.
Is something the matter, Edric?
I felt that one.
He cares for Explosia, and he knows that she has a pretty good head on her shoulders, but like, and he did tell her, he is doing a little better and things like that, but it was definitely like a take back to like
Explosive.
someone else wearing something that was Anders.
Let's see. Gonna just roll the insight to see Explosives. Oh, that was almost a 1.
Yep.
So up to you. Does that is that enough to catch that?
She could definitely tell that he didn't know how to react to someone, I guess, taking something of Anders without like saying anything or something like that. So yeah.
I apologize if that made you uncomfortable. That's actually why I wanted to ask, though. I am.
She looks at the armor.
I'm not sure I really want to wear it, given that, but it's kind of what I wanted to talk to you. Do you think it's worth it? I mean, if we're going to be bringing him back, I think everything could help, but at the same time, it's kind of a little bit, yeah.
You might notice him lighten up a little bit as well. You're right. I don't know why that bothered me. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes it feels like it was just yesterday, and other days it feels like a lifetime. So
Explosive places
Maybe
a
you're
hand
right.
on you, looks you in the eye, and says,
It's because I know why. It's because you're a person, you have a good heart, and you care about your friend.
she smiles.
yeah, maybe you're right though. I mean, that sounds pretty important. I guess we never really asked him what it did.
Yeah, I wouldn't even consider it if it wasn't, well, very useful in this situation. But I'm not
Yeah, I
going to
get
go.
that.
I'm not going to go wear it unless everybody else is okay with it.
I think that's a good idea.
No. Okay.
And she takes it and runs up and gives you a quick peck on the cheek and then runs off.
What's the requirement to wear that?
Is it scale?
I
I think
can-
it's scale.
It's scale.
It's medium armor.
Oh, okay. Just curious.
It's pretty good, actually.
Trying to
But-
think of who could actually like wear it in our group.
It is absolutely
that might
ideal
actually
for
need that
druids.
benefit. Yeah.
because druids cannot wear metal armor, and scales
No,
better
the
than hide.
only other person I was thinking was Hunter, because doesn't he just have like some leather?
I believe Hunter actually can wear this because he got upgraded.
Yeah, he might be able to.
So out of character.
I would say Ferret, but sorry, you've already had it, and to look at your freaking health points.
Yeah.
Your HP is pretty good. So.
You've already had this
Explosive
magical
could
item for
not.
a previous character, so you're not
Yeah.
having for the next one.
Yeah.
I mean, but it could do me better.
Come on.
It could, but I can't justify it in character, really.
Hands up who hasn't come into a campaign after losing a character and made a character specifically to be the best one for a really powerful magical item in the party. I mean, I've done it. I'm sure others have.
I've never lost a character thus far.
Really?
That I didn't
Well,
want
we
to
got
die.
to change that.
Then I didn't try to get killed. I should say. Like, I might lose one next week during the Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah, it's either you die or you go insane. It's pick one.
Yeah.
Usually both, and not always in the right order.
Hey, sometimes you make it out in one piece, horribly scarred, but hey.
Yeah, that's the insanity.
Yeah.
So you board the ship, the Soul of Winter. Her captain, Wolgar Windrain, seems to keep a tight ship, and everything is clean, everything is organised, everyone is working hard. Of note, the ship is crewed entirely by dwarves. They've got they seem to be very efficient in what they are. They're certainly armed. They're certainly less sailors, more marines. So they're all soldiers in themselves. And I think this is about time for a finish point as we set sail, I think. And there are 30. I'll give you a look at the ship before, just so you can have a look. Load it up for you. And we'll open up the map cover. So the top deck, there are a few guards, and then as it keeps on going, and you're pretty much put in one of the below decks and just stuffed in like a storage space, and they put like hammocks in the storage space because there was nowhere else to put you.
Mm-hmm.
And you're also instructed to not interfere with the ship's running, and also to stay below deck at all times.
Do they stop me from bringing a copious amount of pillows?
How many pillows are you going to take?
14.
Yeah. They won't stop you, but the dwarves just look at you like humans need like padding all the time because they don't have natural padding, and that you need to eat more to not rely on pillows and artificial softness.
Fair. I would conclude the same thing if I was looking at explosive. So yeah.
So we'll end it there as the ship sails out of the harbour at first light in the morning, and the Princes of the P. Yep, totally. As the ship sails out and the salvage operation begins, because that's the name of this chapter, salvage operation.
Okay.
All that haggling over having a contract which you didn't need, and him just not wanting the percentage on the contract.
I mean, I think it's fair to get the contract. Explosi didn't care for it because, she's an idiot, but yeah.
Yeah, and it was the pirate that wanted it.
I mean, I think it was Edric too.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I out of character, think that was a wise idea.
For which one?
Explosia wanted to get good faith with the guy because Merchant,
Yeah.
hey, you know what? I'm family Ludovico. maybe we could work to get. Maybe we could scratch each other's backs. Who knows?
We'll scratch other things.
You're coming back into riches. I'm trying to come back into riches.
Is Dave's brother on board by any chance?
No.
Trent?
Yeah, Trent's not here.
Who's Trent?
Dave's brother.
Dave's
Obviously.
brother, the treant.
No.
Trent.
No.
Don't you love it when your
Dave's
players
brother's
make a
name
canon
was
for
John.
themselves?
Just strange. Either way, so we'll end it here. We'll do our thank you for the donations. I will most certainly be using that D8 next week, and we'll see where the adventure goes. We're finally actually out on the sea again, and this is a proper sea adventure. When everyone thinks, they say, "Oh, goes to Saltmarsh, it's going to be pirates." It's really not.
It is pirates.
Well, you're a pirate.
I mean,
But-
the first group of enemies we fought were pirates.
Well, they weren't. They were smugglers. There's a difference.
Smugglers are pirates. What do you think pirates do?
Pirates raid other ships.
pirate
Pirate
things?
is to pirate another ship. That's what a pirate does. A smuggler just moves product.
Smuggles another ship.
No,
You're
moves
right. You're
product.
technically right. The best kind of right.
Yeah. A pirate just attacks and robs ships at sea.
Yes, a smuggler just
So-
transfers goods.
Just as a little thing,
Under
when
the thousand.
Explosive asked you what kind of pirate you were, you'd think like Explosive would hate all pirates. She doesn't. Pirates are often used in war. Buccaneers to raid the enemy.
Are you a
ship.
marauder?
Huh?
I said, is he a marauder?
Well, it depends.
Find out next time.
Maybe a corsair.
Essentially, if you're a pirate for the country, that's a good pirate. If you're not a pirate for this country, then you're a bad pirate.
Having fun. with
Again,
the
find out
sound.
next time.
If you're raiding the stupid sea princes, you're a good pirate.
Oh, isn't that sweet? Find out next time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, right.
thanks everyone for coming in.
Children of the Marsh.
Oh yeah, which actually won't be on next week. Next week we'll have a Call of Cthulhu with some of the children of the marsh, some of the goblins, and possibly some of the rusty daggers. We're mixing the cast
I'll
up.
be here.
So, Sonny, you're totally going to be here for this day because this is the only day you can.
I'll be here.
But we're going to be swapping a few of the cast around and just mixing things up. We're going to be playing kind of the same characters, but in a 1920s setting. So as we were discussing earlier, Explosia would most likely be like a rich philanthropist in that 1920s era. And I think we discussed last week that Ferret would totally be an ex-seaman from the World War One, who was also just a criminal.
Yeah, of course.
And of course, Hunter being just a criminal. Maybe a barman as well. I don't know. So we'll see how we all go. It's going to be fun to mix up the cast as well because all the groups pretty much only get to like chat with each other. They don't get to chat between the groups, so it's really nice to have that opportunity.
I'll probably be on the Rusty Daggers one.
Well,
time
I know you
slot.
put your hand up there, but there's a lot of rusty daggers that are moving as well.
True.
So
I'd say, so you're keeping at least one person for each day, right?
hopefully.
Okay.
It's like the rusty daggers.
I mean, like-
it's got none left of them. No,
I
No.
feel like everyone can't move, otherwise it's all. I mean, I guess it could just all be.
Most of the
random.
people aren't moving from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, most of the people aren't moving, and I'm going. It's just trying to find the right mixture
I
of people.
mean,
That's all it
Yeah.
is.
Some people are okay with
I-
just with being moved, but you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
So some people
or
put their hand up
I
for-
could just play.
I'd say I might have been able to switch to
Every-
Mondays, but
Yeah.
Tuesday was
Fair-
just a better day for me.
No problem.
Ferret could just appear in every session, and
No.
you would,
Because
and
it's
you
going to be
would
the
love
same
it.
show.
and it
No,
would
unless
be
I can get-
amazing.
Stop ruining our diplomacy.
No, I'm trying to make sure. I'm trying to put the effort in so we can get all three different shows, but they might end up being the same show, played with different groups of cast. But I'm going to try to get the rest of it done because I think it's worth it. I think it's fun. I love Call of Cthulhu. It's a really great game, and it's really fitting for Halloween week. So
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we're doing next week. We've also got a cosplay on the Sunday night. So a cosplay show, like a chat about, where we have two of our cast members from our shows talk about their own personal stuff about cosplay. I've got a former boss in the entertainment industry talking about costuming as well. He doesn't do cosplay as such, but he does costuming for roaming, which the techniques are still the same. But just a slightly different style, less pop culture, less taking from and trying to copying, but more creating uniqueness. So very similar, like pretty much the same techniques of the costuming as well underneath. So it'd be nice to chat. I have no experience of cosplaying, so it'll be interesting for me. So tune in for that. That's going to be Sunday, Monday for Australia. We'll have the times up shortly, and just see how that one's going to go, because that's the first for the channel too. We'll do our outros. Fox.
So I am Fox. I play Ferret, and my diplomacy is getting better by the day. It is amazing. We're probably at like 98% diplomacy right now. It's wonderful. And my Edric meter is at like 202%. So, we're smooth sailing right now.
But your explosimeter has gone down.
Well, my explosimeter has gone down because, she upset me.
There.
So, yeah, that is what's happening. And a pirate's going to show what a pirate can do next week. Or 2 weeks from now.
Okay. And Typo?
Hello.
I sincerely apologize for my outburst earlier, and for accidentally getting so angry I shut down the stream twice.
This has been Typo. Hope you've had fun. Catch you later.
Thanks for that. I'd totally forgotten I've got that much editing to do. Great.
You're welcome.
Capri?
Yeah. So I'm Capri Sunny D, your friendly neighborhood Edric Light. Ferret's a liar. Explosia is doing awesome. It was a really fun episode. And it looks like we're getting into some weird stuff. So hopefully in 2 weeks, when we come back with our next episode of Children of the Marsh, we have a full crew. Crew, get it? Pirates off.
I know, hold on. I'm trying to see how fast this flows.
To, go sailing and all. And we'll see how that all works out. Come check us out next week for our Call of Cthulhu one-shots on each day. And even if it's the same story, watch it anyway, because it's different groups, so they're going to do different things.
Oh, yeah.
Baboonsky, thanks for the bits. Thanks for all the things that aren't sponsoring us, but we use them anyway, like Syrinscape and
Stuff.
What's the other one?
Merch.
Yeah, and come check out the merch store. We got cool shirts and other stuff that have all kinds of cool pictures on them. Cool.
Awesome.
Come hang out and
did most
see
of my
what happens
stuff.
next time.
Cool.
On Children of the Marsh.
We were going to raid quests and cliffhangers, because Cliff raids us all the time, but instead, I know you were saying, like, thanks to Baboonsky, he's actually live right now, so he's not watching, but we're going to raid him.
Pog.
We're going to raid him.
Pog champ.
So
right,
we're going to do it that way. So we're going to do the raid after the credits. Thank you all for coming in. It's been amazing. Thank you for the bits as well. Loving this. We're going to have Rusty Daggers tomorrow with a new cast member, so that's cool. And we're going to see them.
Hey, I think Baboonsky just hosted someone.
No, I'm watching right now. Oh no,
okay.
He's hosting someone. Can't raid. Okay, we were going to raid someone else. We'll move to that one. We'll go back to quests and cliffhangers. Good. Good. Yeah, we're going to have a new person there. We're going to see how Meg, who's also kind of a pirate, deals with the Rusty Daggers possibly killing all her family and friends. So that's going to be an interesting one tomorrow. Yeah, that's kind of happening. We'll see how that goes. I don't know how it's going to happen. Like, it's just the rage goes where the rage takes them is kind of what's going on. So yeah, check out that tomorrow. Have fun and enjoy your life. Enjoy the night or whatever's going on. Night, day. Bye.
Wait. Yeah. Also, check out the Discord if you're not in the Discord already, and send us pictures of your cool Halloween costumes. And next week, when you sit around and watch us, why don't you go ahead and dress up while you're sitting there watching and take a picture of that and put it in the Discord as well. We like to see them.
That sounds like fun too. We've even got an art channel for that. That's awesome. I'm not going to dress up while watching me watch the dressing up and doing the edit. That's just
that's
weird.
fair.
That just gets complicated and my brain just melts. But
Yeah.
that sounds like fun. We'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.